What's up, Dreadwolf? What's up, Mesk? Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday, my friends. Hello, hello. A little bit of the bloody tears. Whoops. Forgot to zoom it in. Hello, my friends. What's up? Happy Saturday. It's me, Cups, bringing another Monster Hunter Rise stream. Today, we've got a very special episode. Very special episode of the stream today for you. I shaved today, Mask. It doesn't look good, dude. I can't do it anymore. I can't use the face buzzer. I got to do a full-on razor stream or razor shave. But we got Hotsammysliz on the stream. We'll be talking to him in about 15 minutes or so. We're going to be doing a kind of little things to do to get yourself prepared for Sunbreak. It's not going to be the best information for a lot of you guys, because a lot of you guys know what you're doing. But we'll be talking on both sides about what we're doing in particular to prepare for Sunbreak, and mainly, and then probably cut that up into a YouTube video and release it probably a little bit closer to Sunbreak. I think 5 weeks ahead of time is a little bit too much. We'll probably do it like a good 2 weeks or so before then. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, we're mainly going to be talking about, we have a couple talking points, but it's going to mainly be about like how expensive the game is. So like money wise, what we're doing to like get Zenny, like, you know, running what's it called? Mining routes and selling monster parts to check in your Kahoot's nest and all kinds of stuff like that. What's up, Echolite? And then we're also going to be talking about monster tells in particular, things like that, like because master rank monsters typically share a lot of the same movesets as high rank monsters, so learning the monsters kind of inside and out, because a lot of people don't know that there's just like the normal state, like a neutral state of a monster, and then there's enraged, and then there's like usually like a hyper enraged or like some sort of hellfire or full blast or whatever else. Get a good longsword and counter all the things. You know, I think it's kind of funny that a lot of people, like, Longsword is getting so much hate lately for how strong it is, and all the gunner weapons are stronger and 10 times easier to play than Longsword. It's just, these gunners are like, yeah, fuck Longsword, yeah. It's like, light bowgun, heavy bowgun, and bow are 10 times easier to play than Longsword, and they're way better. So it's like, they're like two gunner players. I wish that were true, dude. Like a lot of my IRL friends that I've been talking about helping get through hub and everything, they're like a lot of them are playing gunner weapons because they just stand far away and just shoot everything, and it's really easy to make and play. So it's like whatever. I mean, LS and bow, both very strong. How you doing, Dreadwolf? But yeah, so things about like making money, some small tips like sending Meowcenaries out to get low rank monster parts, because this game is going to require like different parts from different monsters. Like sometimes you're going to need Nargacuga parts to make Teostra weapons and stuff like that. So you don't know in master rank if you're going to need low rank. Like let's say, what's like a tree that sucks now? Banabra. So like Banabra weapons suck. But who's to say that they're not amazing in master rank? So you might need some of those low rank parts, and you don't want to go fight a Banabra for 2 hours to go get parts. So, like Longsword before, it was made so strong. Well, it was strong in 3U because it had like infinite spirit combos. It wasn't crazy, and it was top tier in World. It was top tier in Iceborne. It was top tier in GU. It was top tier with 3U. It was not top tiered for you, though, I feel like. It was only not strong. Also, hi. What's up, Jangshi? Good to see you. Hope all is going well. It's really good to see you, to see you streaming and doing some stuff more often. I wish I could spend more time in there because I genuinely enjoy your streams. I think you're a phenomenal streamer. Don't tell anybody I said that, though. I'm the best streamer, so. Played Prowler, but you said you were playing it before it was strong, and it's kind of always been strong. Just working and vibing? Nice, nice. What do you do if you don't mind me asking? Too late recorded? I see. I see. Yeah, I made the mistake of complimenting Banshee yesterday, and she DM'd me, and she's like, thank you for the kind words. I'm like, man, shut up. Making y'all too comfortable. There was once a time when Cups was feared. No, not really. But yeah, so we'll be streaming with the Sliz today. We'll be talking about what we're getting ready for, what we're doing to get ready for Sunbreak, and kind of just some general tips for new players, unlocking submarines and all that stuff, which, I could use a couple pointers on. And also doing your jackpots and probably all that stuff like that. And then we'll cut it up into a little YouTube video, drop that puppy in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that. And then we'll be doing some hunts together, Old Sam and I. Probably a shorter stream because I have a lot of shit to edit. I wanted to drop the tier list that we recorded yesterday, so I needed to edit that boy. And then I'm going to restart the Sword and Shield one. So I was doing the catch-up guide for Sunbreak, all the basic combos and everything like that you need to know. And which ones you need to make and all that. And I did that on stream, but it was a mess. I did not like it. It was not very good. So I'm going to have to re-record that one, and then I'll get to work on that. Because I thought what I would do is, I'll just chop up a stream. But the stream was 6 hours long. And there's, I don't have dedicated sections of the stream talking about each specific thing. So I'm just pilfering through a 6-hour stream trying to find out what the hell I'm talking about. So I'll probably just start over, condense it, record it in 5-minute bites, and then edit that per 5 minutes and then kind of release it like that. I'm going to unlocking stuff. Well, it's perfect, man. It's perfect. You inconvenience yourself for a year so that you get 5 minutes of content out of it. I work in jewelry after sales. It's hard to explain. Okay. I thought it was some sort of... I thought you were in that field in some regard. Answer emails, technical stuff for jewelry. Cool. Cool. Interesting. Anyway. So he might be ready here soon. Work fully from home now, though, which is cool. That's awesome. If there is one bright spot out of COVID, it is that we've realized, especially in America, that 99% of jobs could be done from home, but the powers that be just won't let it happen. There's too many mid-level managers that do absolutely nothing except walk around and look at people, and they're getting heavily exposed when they have literally nothing to do. I think a lot of the jobs are also done better from home. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it just gives a lot of people, a lot of their life back, right? Because... let's say I live out here in Kansas City, right? And a lot of these places, affordable homes are about 30, 40 minutes away from the city. So you're commuting 30 minutes to and 30 minutes back. So instead of getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and then, eating breakfast, getting dressed, got to do your laundry to get your clothes all good and all that stuff. And then you have a half-hour commute to work, and then you have a half-hour back home and during rush hour and all that stuff. Instead of turning your day into 12 hours, it turns it into 8 hours. Because you get on at 8 and you get off at 5. So it's gives people a lot of their lives back, which is great. What's up, Pet Shop? What's up, Unctana? And just, Unctana, just being able to, wear your own clothes and stuff like that. And if, because when I was working, before I was working in a law office. So I had suits, I had, express shirts and, suit pants. And nice socks and nice shoes. That shit's not easy to maintain. A lot of that stuff's got to be dry cleaned. And, express shirts can be 50, 60, 70, $100 or something like that. And having a suit, because whenever there would be conferences, I would have to wear a full on suit. So I had 2 or 3 suits that I had to wear for work as well. So it's it's just not easy to maintain. Can y'all imagine your head of cleaned up cups? I mean, I didn't look too much different than I do now. I was just wearing nice clothes. Yeah, I was not that guy that just wore Target dress shirts to work and stuff like that. I like to wear nice clothes. Especially when I was a property manager as well. I was always wearing really nice clothes. Maybe I'll get dressed up for stream one time so you guys can see what Cups looks like all cleaned up. But what are you guys up to this weekend? I think I'll probably be getting a call from Sammy anytime soon. Our boy Cup's always looking clean. I think the summer guard. Summer guard. I could just shave more, really. You know, maybe get a little bit of a tan. You know? My hair is usually looking pretty nice, though. Yeah, that's right. Gonna cry because I actually do have to spend like 1K to get car part replaced. 1K for a car part? What would that be? It could be any number of things. Maybe a fuel pump. Seeing a musical with family and playing games. I'm simple. Seeing a musical, huh? You seeing The King and I? Catalytic converter? Oh, God. 1K could be a number of different things, also including labor. Sunday, either my uncle or grandpa is looking to barbecue, and that's the plans. Nice, nice. Hades Town? Cool. It's really nice. What the? Is that a little sussy emote? Basically, it's the sussy emote. But yeah, I'll be streaming for a little bit, and then we'll edit some videos tonight, and then I might play some games before I go to bed. I need to do my some dailies on Lost Ark. The Moogle Dumpy. And then our good buddy will be streaming with Femito on Tuesday. Femito and I will be doing a little, some hunts, of course, and then also a little catch-up guide on gunner weapons. I need the man's knowledge and also his brand. I need to be able to say, with Femito, and get millions of views. If only that were true. If only that were true. Who? Fermento, dude. On bow advice? I don't know if I'll be hitting him up for bow advice. We'll see how much time we have, but I think I'd probably talk to him more about bow and light bow gun. Chilling and playing some games over the weekend. What else is there in life? What games are you mainly playing right now, Dreadwolf? Here's my bow sets. Maybe that can help you a little bit. You basically want to hit the monster and not get hit. Here's my Pierce bow. I love bow. LBG looks really cool. Oh, dude, the new stuff for Sunbreak. Whoo, looks good. And then it's basically just copy paste. It's all the same set. Mighty bow, Bike, Rachna, Chrome, Rachna. And then you just kind of copy paste. And it's all Rampage bows. I don't think that's best in slot always anymore, but these are more than good enough to just trash monsters with. Don't get hit will be the hard part. Yes. Yes. I'm a bolt dodge evangelist. Yeah, it makes it, I think since I've been playing so much bow lately, I've actually really cleaned up. I've cleaned up my play a lot. I know I die a lot and act like an idiot, but when I'm trying hard, I've been playing much cleaner lately because I've kind of knocked the rust off a little bit. And my bow play in particular has gotten much better. Dodge bolt is very fun. I think I kind of need like one level of extender on it though, because it just doesn't travel far enough. Like sometimes you hit the iframe and get the counterattack, but then you still get hit because you're in the way of the monster, get clipped on the edges and stuff like that. At least I do. Not window, just extender, just so you can get out of the way of the monster, because there's plenty of iframes on it. Rise and Fire Emblem Warriors. Nice. I didn't even know there was a warrior. Like, is that like Destiny Warriors? I didn't even know there was a Fire Emblem game like that. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad distance. I used to be super into Fire Emblem a lot. Fire Emblem 7, Sacred Stones, Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn. Like, those are in some of my favorite games of all time. But then I played Awakening, and I was like, no thanks. And then I kind of tried the newer ones, and I'm like, no thanks. And they used to be, here's me, old man shouting at Cloud, but they used to be like tactical, like lords and ladies of their castle protecting their lands from kind of mysterious evils. And now it's like anime dating sim shit, and I'm not about it. What's up, Salmiak? That's my old man rant for the day. I feel like it was at its greatest with Path of Radiance. Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, I kind of consider them mainly the same game because they have a lot of the same mechanics and a lot of the same characters, and they just get older over time, which I thought was really compelling because you kind of see Ike grow up from a young man that had recently lost his father into one of the greatest leaders, And he was a big, strong dude that was very imposing by the end of it. Very cool. Spin-off Dynasty Warriors. Oh, yeah, Dynasty Warriors, not Destiny Warriors. Dynasty Warriors. Cool. Playing Dragon Quest 2? Nice. You were playing the newer one, too, weren't you? Or is that what I saw? 2, like, as well. You've been playing Dragon Quest as well. I think that's what I'm reading. Still am. Yeah, I was watching you play that a little bit. I was lurking. Yeah, Black Knight was sick, and whenever, spoilers, when you beat him, you get his sword, and you can put that on, like, your strongest melee class, and what's unique about the Black Knight sword is that you can attack from 2 squares away, not just 1. So you put it on your strongest sword user, and whoo, baby. Did they clean up after that? What's up, Ryan? Hola. Been playing Dragon Quest 1 and 2 off-stream, though. Nice, nice. Basically, still play some Lost Ark off stream. I've been kind of playing Batman Arkham Asylum. I'm like 4 hours in, but that's 4 hours over a month. It's really not that much. Hola, dude. Hola. Yeah, Sammy said we're gonna get ready and kind of just talk shit for a little bit, and I'll hop into a call with him. Lost Ark seemed fun. Lost Ark is really good, but it is a big time investment. It's kind of hard to just like play every once in a while. It's like, nah, the game is all about progression. You have to always be progressing. And it can feel like a second job for sure. But I genuinely like the gameplay loop, and I really like the game and the character designs and all that stuff. And I want to keep up with the game. I don't want to get too far behind. Because current item level is like, for the high-end content, it's like 1445, and I'm at like 1395. So I'm kind of getting behind because I play Monster Hunter and, live life. I can't like be on Lost Ark all day every day as much as I'd like to. Hey, what's up, Jub? Started Terraria Calamity mod. Calamity mod came out like a year or two ago, and I think it breathed a lot of new life into the game. I remember when it was popping off on Twitch. 600 on your destroyer, very nice. My destroyer is, I think, 960. JRPG kick, honestly, the item level stuff is wild. Yeah, it's a huge investment. It's a good game though. If you want one game for the rest of your life, Lost Ark is a pretty good one. There's so much to do. There's an ungodly amount of stuff to do in that game, and it's largely not a waste of your time. It's very rewarding. Satisfying, cool. The PvP is good. The PvE is good. Fashion getting good. Horizontal content, as they call it. There's a lot of, vertical content. Vertical progression is like getting your HR up and getting better gear to fight better monsters. And then horizontal content is like getting your submarine. Dang, and like the farm and all that stuff. In Lost Ark, the horizontal content is equally as fun and rewarding as the vertical content. So, want to become famous? I'd love to become famous. Ooh, I want to buy some primes. Yeah, I want to buy some viewers. Just hit Ultra 1? Nice. I don't really know the rankings. I'm like Supreme 10 or whatever. Free followers? Oh, boy. You swipe an easy game. Yes, for sure. I mean, that can't help. But, like, you can essentially pay to win in Lost Ark, but, God, the return would be... the return would be so bad. I'm not even kidding. It would probably cost you $100 US to save you 2 hours of work in Lost Ark. I'm not even kidding. I primed as soon as the bot came up. Thank you so much for the sub, Ryan. I appreciate you. Thank you. He'll probably talk about the Dongo stuff. pass on Lost Ark. Yeah, he's playing. A lot of our homies are really into Final Fantasy 14, and that is also a game that eats your whole life up. So, dude, it would be impossible to maintain 14 and Lost Ark at the same time. Oh my gosh. I think my issue with MMO is it feels like it's a huge time sink for every single one. I mean, that's kind of the idea, right? That's kind of the idea. That's the entire appeal of the game, is that you just play that one game, get really involved, get immersed in the world, join a community, kind of thing. Yeah. That's how it is with a lot of my buddies. See, like, I kind of play, I get like on one game and I play that game for like 2 years or 2 years plus, and then I move on to the next game and I play that game for 2 years. But a lot of my buddies are like, we can't play Monster Hunter, we can't play Lost Ark, like, we just play too many games. Like, they play a new game every month that they drop into. And luckily, I'm just, like, way too poor to do that, so I just can't, like, afford a new game every month. So, that aren't Final Fantasy? Oh, yeah, I mean, we know you're a big Final Fantasy fan. There's just some good ones out there, dude. Like Suikoden, and, Suikoden series, Dragon Quest series, Atelier Ryza, and there's some other good stuff out there, man. I hate that so much. What, not having money? 300 hours of 14 and then stopped after Shadowbringers, got burned out. Yeah. Genshin Impact, do not want to see how much I've spent so far for the gacha. I don't want to buy a game that I'm going to play for less than 100 hours. It's tough, dude. I've been genuinely really, really want to play Triangle Strategy, but I cannot pay $60 for a game I know I'm not going to play for 1 million hours. I physically cannot do it. So I just check like deals every single day to see if it's dropped down to like $30 or something like that. I cannot do it. Pillars of Eternity 2. Never heard of it. And it's also like, part of it is like, if I got $30 or if I have $60, I'd rather buy a new pair of sneakers or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, if I had $60 of disposable income, I'd probably buy some nice clothes with it. Probably buy a couple t-shirts, like a new pair of workout pants or something like that. You know what I mean? Let me call Sam right now. Let's get him on.
Time.
Hello?
Right time. Not a minute late.
Did you say, I felt my ears burning? Did you mention me? You're like, hey.
Yeah, you did. You right. I was actually just basking in the alliteration we have going on. The Capcom content creator collaboration with Cups is pretty crazy.
Ooh, the kings.
Oh,
the
yeah.
content kings, Capcom creators. What's up, everybody? Let me go to your channel just to make sure I'm not. So we're on the same page here. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
It's Cups and Hotsammysliz. We're playing some Monster Hunter today.
Hello.
And we're talking Monster Hunter today as well. We were kind of talking about some things about what we were going to do to get ready for Sunbreak, cut that bad boy up into a YouTube video, and then profit from it.
Yes, indeed. You know what? Let me set the vibe right. Let me put a little Monster Hunter tune on. Or do you want no tune?
We could do no tune, and then I'll put music over it in the video.
Put music on it,
because I used to do that with my editor. I would put Monster Hunter music on, and he's like, "God, can you please stop? Because you put it up a certain volume, and then you cut it up, and then you're at 15 different points in the song."
Yeah,
and it just sounds like shit.
Yeah. Let me. You know what? Just to make it a little bit easier for you, I'll record my audio separate, so then you can do whatever you want with that.
There we go. Very, very nice. But yeah, so we'll talk about Sunbreak a little bit and what we're doing to prepare for Rise, because there's some stuff that newer players aren't really going to know about, like how damn expensive the game is.
Yeah.
When it comes
really
to Zenny.
Expensive.
Yeah. And just like general practices from previous Monster Hunter games, like I think World Iceborne, the thing I was kind of thinking about in particular is like if I want to make a Teostra weapon, right? You fight Teostra, and then you fight Teostra, and then you keep fighting Teostra, and you make all the weapons and armor of Teostra. But this game is kind of like the older games where you need like Nargacuga parts to make a Teostra weapon or whatever else.
Yeah.
So there's just going to be some
low rank stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to be kind of talking about best practices of how to optimize while you're playing to just get everything ready. So you're not having to go out of your way whenever whenever Sunbreak comes out, so you're not fighting like Banabras and other annoying shit like that.
Yep. I've been doing some of it myself, even with the Meowcenaries and all that stuff. Sending out low rank.
Yeah, I think that's sending out Meowcenaries for low rank is probably a pretty good idea. Because I don't want to go out for that shit. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You didn't know you needed other monsters.
You got a lobby up?
No, I can though.
For the sake of this for the sake of this video, let me not have my Tifa mod on.
And just the avoidance of gravity that the Tifa mod creates.
No regard for the gravity at all.
She's rather top heavy, if you know what I mean.
Yes. And you know what? This is a great fashion.
I got a lobby up if you want to join.
Fashion as well. All right.
How you doing though today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I woke up, had my little protein smoothie, had a mini version.
Okay.
I made these like kind of oatmeal strawberry kind of bar things.
Okay.
They actually came out terrible, but when I throw them in the air fryer, they're delicious.
I don't have an air fryer, but everybody I know acts like it's like some sort of cheat code. Like
it is, dude. I mean, this is a perfect example. I like made these bars, and I was like following some YouTube recipe.
Sure.
I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. Let me just try it out. And it's like egg whites and strawberries and some syrup and oats and protein powder, and you like bake it and all this stuff. And I was like, all right, that sounds good. You know, decent calorie count, some protein, all that stuff. And then I made it, and I was like, this is gross. Like, this texture feels like I'm eating wet eggs. This is horrible. And I was like, well, I just wasted a whole bunch of materials. I was like, well, let me just try throwing it in the air fryer and see what happens. That should make it like crispy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You just put a little oil on top of it, or what? A little butter?
Nah, nothing.
Nothing at all.
Anything. Nothing.
I need to.
It's already wet. Like, because there's some cream cheese on top of it too.
Sure. Yeah,
it was already like
and all that stuff.
So it already had all that. So I just throw it in the air fryer for like 15 minutes. The oatmeal, the oats get nice and crunchy. The cream cheese gets that like nice hard layer on top, but soft inside. It's perfect.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, I might have to get one just because I get really tired of preheating my oven to 460 degrees to cook like two fish sticks in it.
Dude, eggs, anything that's like soup, like stuff you normally put on like a tray and then put in the oven is just like air fryer 10 minutes. So like fries or like chicken strips or whatever. I make eggs in there. It's like, it's awesome.
I've been like,
and there's no extra like fat or anything. Like you can use oil and stuff if you want, but like you don't have to.
Already uses the moisture kind of inside of it and doesn't dry it out or anything like that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
I've been into cooking lately. I don't know if you've seen some of the food I put up.
Yeah, I saw. That's like a second, maybe third passion of mine after like video games and technology.
I know you're always asking like what what people ate today and all that stuff. I don't know if you're just because there's a difference between being a foodie and liking to cook food and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like both. I like cooking and I just like talking about food in general. It's like we all gotta eat, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody has to eat, so I might as well do something with it.
Yeah, I've like never really been too much of a food guy. It's kind of always been like I just kind of eat to survive kind of thing. But like now I've kind of got like a newfound appreciation for it because my wife's family is she's a baker, and then my brother-in-law is like a professional chef. My sister-in-law is a professional chef. She actually just won this year. She won. Yeah, she won Best New Chef in Kansas City, where we live.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're studs, and I was like, oh, well, I might as well try to take some advice from this instead of just trying to like order out 6 times a week and waste a bunch of money and all that stuff.
Yeah, and like by no means am I like on the road to be a Gordon Ramsay or something, but it's like I mean, we're all creatives. It's nice to make something and then eat it.
It's kind of funny how quick my brain has changed because I've been doing it for about 2 months now, maybe, like kind of trying different stuff. And my wife was like, I'm just going to get some asparagus and some rice, and then I'll just salt and pepper some chicken and toss it in the oven. We'll have that for dinner. Just something quick and easy. And I'm like, let me make you a glaze for this chicken. Let me toss it. Let me get it in a marinade real quick. And then when you cook later on, just put this glaze on top of it. Like, I can't just have basic shit anymore.
I make chicken, and it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to make this little marinade bag, Ziploc, throw it in there for the day, come back, and then it's like, it's the same stuff, but it just tastes way better.
Right.
And all I did was add like 10, 15 minutes of work.
For sure. And it's like, coming from like a fitness point of view, it's like, spices, properly spicing, it's like 6 more calories. Like, who cares? Like,
it's like nothing. Spices are absolutely nothing and change the whole meal.
Yeah. Gym bros are always like, I have to have plain chicken with plain rice and broccoli with no flavoring. It's like,
that shit is so not necessary.
Yeah.
So it's like you look at any spice thing and it's just like 0 calories and like 10 grams of sodium. Yeah. If that, like, for the whole container.
Yeah, you just like go out and check your mailbox and then you've burned off those calories. Way to go, man.
Yeah.
And you don't, it's like a badge of honor kind of thing. You have to struggle for your body kind of thing. It's kind of weird.
It's like, nah, man. And I'm kind of going through that now. I'm back in the gym. But I'm like, when I first went, I was like that, like nothing on my food. All disgusting. I have to hate it. And like, I'll see results. And it's like, it doesn't have to be like that.
Right. Yeah, I just got boosted and all that other stuff, and COVID is kind of cleaning up a little bit in my area, so I'm feeling pretty solid about going back to the gym. I know it's gotta be rough, but you gotta start back over from somewhere.
Yep, that's where I'm at. Like, we just started 2 weeks ago, so it's like, all right, start my weights low, and it's like I was like triple this, but I don't want to fucking break my bones.
That's the main thing. Is it's like, especially because we're like in our 30s now, so it's like whenever you whenever you're like going back and you're like, man, this is really, really lightweight, like I could do 4 times this, and you have to be like, no, do not do it.
yeah, it's so hard.
I just want to max on the first day. Like no,
like I'm squatting like 225s, and it's like, dude, I had 245s on the side of this when I was like at my peak.
Right.
Like, no, I can't do that right now.
Yeah, and this is like kind of incredibly easy, and then the next day you're still really, really sore because your body's not used to doing that kind of stuff.
Exactly what it was. I did like nothing, and then the next day Heather and I were like, oh my god, we can't get out of bed. It's like, all right.
Yeah, it's like, especially if you do something like a deadlift or something like that uses your whole body. It's just completely, it's like you've been in a car accident or something like that.
Yeah, I got out of bed and almost fell over. I was like, oh, what are my legs? I have no legs anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty like embarrassing. Well, I guess it's good, because like anybody can do anything nowadays,
it's like growth. Like, that's like a part of it. And Heather's like, oh my god, I hurt so much. It's like, that's like a good hurt. That means you did something.
Yeah, because
we went back to the gym after not going, and you came back the next day, and you're like, I'm ready to do the same thing tomorrow. It's like that means you didn't do anything.
I know a lot of people that are like that are kind of new to lifting weights, is they think that they're doing something wrong because they're not sore all the time. And I know a lot of people, like, after they stop being sore, they actually stop working out because it's like that kind of satisfying of a feeling, like you're getting progress because you're sore. And once after a while, you stop being sore because your body's used to it. And then that's when they quit, because it's like, I don't have that feedback anymore of knowing that I'm progressing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Anyway, enough about that kind of stuff. We could go on about food and fitness all day.
Yeah, we could all day.
Yeah. But anyway, so let's talk about some Sunbreak stuff. And we kind of divvied up what we were going to talk about a little bit. And, it gave you a little bit more of the stuff that you might pay a little bit more attention to that I may not. But what were you going to talk about?
This whole area we're in right now.
Yeah, this whole place. I actually had to go here before stream because I've never seen this area before. But anyway, okay. So I think we were going to talk a little bit about palicos and palamutes. So what can you tell us about some of that stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, it's actually cool that we put that on the list, because there were some things we just discovered yesterday which will help you in Sunbreak, but just kind of help you in the game in general. Well, one, just make sure you have a pet in some way, shape, or form. There's a preference whether you like the dog or cat. The dog gives you a bit more, mobility. You can run around faster and stuff. Cat has a lot more utility. I'm personally more of a cat person because I'm gonna run around anyway. I know Cups is more of a dog person. Get right to the combat. So it's it's kind of a preference thing, but either way, make sure you're working on leveling up your cats or dogs because they have abilities, and there's going to be more abilities when Sunbreak comes out, and they're most likely going to be gated by leveling up your pets. So whatever pets you're using, make sure you're leveling them up. I always will recommend having at least one of each type of cat because there's the bomb cat, gather cat, heal cat, trap cat, and I think I'm forgetting one more.
Fighting? I don't think you said fighting.
Fighting cat. Yeah, fighting cat. And they all have their own benefits. And once you have at least one of each, you'll really notice those benefits. We were just talking about it yesterday. Fighting cat. The starting skill, when it goes off, it gives you 30% crit and low grade earplugs just for free.
Yeah, what was that called?
Pretty crazy.
I can't remember.
That's the fighting cat, rousing roar.
Rousing roar is what it's called. Yeah, we just tested that last night. 30% crit, and then earplugs for 2 minutes, like for 2 minutes plus.
Yeah,
that's insane. Like you could completely have gigantic holes in your build or like your mix set. You know what I'm saying? And just run super high raw builds, and then just plug 30% affinity with just having the right cat in the right situation.
Yep, and then there's other skills. There's a whole sheet. I'll send it to you. You can link it if you want. It was back when Rise came out on Switch. It was just like a sheet of all the skills the cats have and give you an explanation how you get them because they all come in different slots and stuff. Because there's if you're looking for damage, you can get a power drum and go fight win and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But more so for prep for Sunbreak, I would recommend a gather cat because that's just going to get you more materials. Every time you go out on a quest, you're going to come back and there'll be a list of all your materials, and in the bottom row there's like items plundered, and it's always going to be monster materials and sometimes like environmental like plants and stuff. But if you're fighting a large monster, a gather cat's going to get you extra materials, and that's just going to help towards making whatever weapons or gear or anything you're working towards, even just throwing stuff in the pot if you're working on charms. So like if you don't have any pets, or you're like, I don't know where to start or what pet to get, I highly recommend a gather cat. That's going to just help you get more materials.
Because my gather cat that I have here has like shock tripper in it, has pilfer in it, and they can like get monster parts from like a good distance away. And shock tripper, they put pets or they put monsters in traps for you, and then it also has power drum and endemic life barrage and stuff like that. And you can kind of combine skills, putting things in traps and just generally buffing. But take a look at like the equip moves that your gathering cats have, and look for specific ones that will help you just clear hunts faster, more efficiently, and also get like those extra parts and stuff like that you need.
Yes, and they have like the so there's the equip moves, which are more so, I guess you could say, active abilities, and then they have the skill memory, which is more so like passive. And a nice passive, if you're again more of a support thing, I usually look for like status attack up, because then you give them a status weapon and you'll get like a free para or a free sleep. Usually at least one. Earplugs is nice, especially if you don't have the fighting cat or earplug in your gear. They can knock you out of roars when they have earplugs, which is nice. More kind of quality of life stuff. And then general damage is always nice too.
Running like crit up or attack
like
up, something like that.
Yeah.
Negate poison, like that's an excellent little thing. You know what I mean? Just kind of
knockout
king. Like so, if you can kind of combine.
KO king is also good.
So you use status attack up, and you get a paralysis, and you're wailing on the monster, and then you also get a KO off of it. Just to kind of help clean that kind of stuff up a little bit. And like pets, I think I prefer Palamute just because he cruises around a little bit faster, and Palamutes are more geared towards fighting and doing a lot of damage and status application, and Palicos just do everything. Like they do everything very well, except for running. You can't ride your Palico around. That's really it. Yeah,
that's pretty much the balance, is that they just don't move you fast, but they do everything else.
Yeah. So if you guys like aren't looking at this stuff, there's some insane abilities that these Palicos have. The Palamutes kind of do their own thing. They're kind of like another hunter in your hunt, essentially. But Palicos just buff the heck out of you and do whatever else. They're just such good supports for you. So you can look at these from the buddy board.
They can do shock traps, pitfall traps, the base of vitality. I was running that early Rise for a while because that just gets rid of any status. So you get poisoned, you get ice blight, you get fire blight. You just run through this cloud they put down and it's gone.
It's like the
sometimes
go ahead.
Snipe it. and put it on like when like Somnicanth will put you to sleep, then the cat will put a Vase of Vitality on you, so it just cancels the sleep, which is awesome.
That's crazy. Does it still have the bubble that essentially saves you a cart as well? Do they have that in this game?
I don't think they have that. They have one for themselves that'll like revive them faster, but they don't have one that'll save you. That's cool though. I hope they get that in Sunbreak. But yeah, we don't have that in this.
Yeah, I know we had that in Iceborne.
They have so many tools.
But I mean, if you're talking about like thousands of hunts and just getting a heal bubble from your Palico every once in a while, that's saving you a bunch of max potions and a bunch of mega potions and stuff like that. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, and if you run a gather cat or a heal cat, you know, they have the heal horn and you can get one with the bubbles. So they're playing the horn, they're putting bubbles out, like they could do the vase so you don't get status blight, they can give you stamina, like they can do all types of stuff.
Right. And so you can change all that stuff from the buddy board.
Level them up.
Yeah, and then
you can change all that stuff out.
You're gonna need several of them anyway just to be doing Meowcenaries. So it's good to have maybe like even like a dozen or so of them just to send out.
Yeah,
on
and there's some
things.
Of the event ones. So even if you're like, I don't know what to go for, at least grab all the event ones. There's like 2 or 3 event cats and 2 or 3 event dogs. Like if you go to hire a special buddy, they're just there and you could just grab those ones. And they're all pretty decent because they're tailored ones made like by Capcom to give to us.
Oh, I see. So yeah, if you need
there's
like
a fighting cat, a trap cat, and a heal cat, and they're all pretty good. Like the fighting one has Power Drum, which is good. The trap one has Shock Tripper, which is good. The heal one also has the vase and the heal bubble, like I was just saying. And then the dogs, they have the status one, attack one, health. Like they all have pretty good skills there as well. So like, at least grab those. Those are just
what does the bomb cat
6
do?
right there. Oh, bomb cat. So bomb cat puts basically a worm stake on the monster, like gunlets.
Oh.
And you hit it, and it just goes off whenever you hit it.
Okay, I had no idea.
And then they throw a big barrel bomb.
Yeah.
That's like a barrel bomb plus. They just like walk to the monster and throw that.
Okay, and it's on like a cooldown for whatever amount.
Yeah.
30, 60
and one of the like random abilities they can get is the anti-monster mine. Yeah. Which Laverin recently got me into that. They put a mine on the ground, and whenever the monster, it's basically a cat triggered flinch. Like whenever they run into it, they're gonna flinch and take damage.
That's
so
crazy.
It'll always interrupt an attack. Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, and
good.
if you combine it with like Shock Tripper and KO King and all that other stuff, that's a lot of CC, man.
Yeah, and if you have if you're in multi and all your cats every cat who's out there has a mine, like there could just be like 4 mines on the field and the monsters just flinch in between all of them. Like it's consistently a flinch. They don't get like resistance to it. So like if they touch it, they're gonna flinch.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. That's really, really good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'll have to play around with that a little bit. I run 1 Palamute, and I kind of always have, and most of the time I just tell them to sit outside the battle arena anyway because I don't want them to fight the monsters. So, and I put diversion on.
The thing is, like, in Rise, like, you know, the dog was the new thing. You travel real fast. So it makes a lot of sense that, like, you know, a lot of people are going to run the Palamute, but I think they balanced it pretty well with the cats having so much utility.
Yeah.
Like, way more. They don't have the life res, but there's so much utility with the cats have in this game to kind of balance out the fact that the dogs just sprint really fast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I will give it to the dogs. They put an insane amount of status on with Umbrella because I just give them the sleep.
Yeah,
I give them the sleep
Umbrella's insane.
So I give them the sleep weapon. I get
Kara
2 sleeps a hunt or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, you give the dog the Umbrella and whatever status, whether sleep or para, KO King, and like Artful Dodger, so they're more likely to guard and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I also put, like, whenever I have my pets, I put diversion on myself, especially if I'm playing a counter weapon, like sword and shield or longsword or something like that, and then the monster won't focus your Palico or Palamute anymore either, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll lead nicely into kind of what we were going to talk about as well as Meowcenaries. So after, like, you have all your Palicos and Palamutes set up, you can go out for Meowcenaries. And there's a couple different things, like these come back every 5 quests, I believe, right?
Yep, every 5. Well, however long you send them, but I think the default, you send them 5, and then every quest they cycle through. So like, you could call them back early if you wanted to. If you're like, I need this part. I sent them the wrong place.
Yeah. I need just this one thing that, I already sent them out for kind of thing. So is there any kind of it doesn't really make a difference what meow center you send out. So if you send out 5 gathering cats, is it going to give you more or less stuff than it would otherwise?
Oh, yeah. So no, the only thing that matters is just the level. So I actually send all dogs out just to level the dogs up. Because the higher the level, the better the expected outcome will be. So for the sake, I'll just call mine back just so I can look at it. So yeah, basically just level. And then this is another way to level up. I guess we didn't go over it yet, but I'm sure we'll talk about it. The dojo to level up cats. That's like a part of this area just for leveling up your pets.
It's like a
every
passive
time you send them for, but every time you send them for either mercenaries or the submarines, they get experience too. Not as fast, but they still get some. So I just choose pets that aren't max level, and then choose the location I want. I use an apple to increase the outcome. Basically, the higher the outcome, the more stuff you'll get. And then, like you were saying, the destination, I've been doing like low rank.
Yeah, because all this stuff... Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so we were like kind of talking about a lot of people are kind of sending out things for high rank because, I need high rank Magnum Olo or whatever else. But these are the monsters that you're typically going to fight in the hub anyway. So, or whenever you're playing with your friends and stuff like that, you're going to be fighting Zinogre, Nargacuga, Apex monsters, and you're going to be doing the occasional rampage and stuff like that to progress through the hub. But like what you're not always going to do is once you're done with Village, you are not going to spend time in low rank. And this can be a huge bottleneck for a lot of people. Me in particular is that I needed the Altaroth Jaws, and I needed Banabras for like the Banabra weapons and stuff like that. So I'm like, HR 200 walking around killing low rank Banabras for 4 hours trying to get monster parts. So whenever you're sending out your Meowcenaries, I would recommend, I think we both recommend sending them out for low rank stuff and get like the little shiny things, look for whatever you need. But I'd hate to have you guys, after you're grinding high rank and fighting Apex monsters, going back to fight low rank Bishaten and stuff like that to pick up
especially the small monsters. Like pretty much my rule of thumb is I look in high rank, and if I see Banabra, that's more valuable to me than any shiny, because I never want to kill Banabra. They're like the worst thing to ever go to fight. So like right on mine, I see there's Frost Islands in low rank. I have a shiny in Flooded Forest, but like it's Ludroth and Zinogre and like plants or whatever. Like I don't want to fight low rank Banabra. So I'm like choosing that. And somebody, Fraley's just asked here, is 5 paws the highest outcome? Yeah. And I'm not sure the level, what number level they need to be to get that. And I think it also depends on what you're sending them on. But once they're at like 40 or so, like you'll pretty much always have the guaranteed 4 paws, and then the Lagnia apple gives a 5. So yeah, like if you see low rank and some kind of bug, or if there's not a bug, some kind of shiny, that's pretty much what I'm always going for. Because you're never, the shinies you can only get through Meowcenaries. So each kind of material has their own shiny, with it's like bones, plants, bugs, fish, and mushroom.
Yeah.
And those are like materials you can only get from Meowcenaries. So if there's nothing else you're targeting, definitely go for those, because there's gear and layers and weapons that need those materials.
Yeah, in particular, like the Death Stench gear needs like the Sinister Cloths and stuff like that. The bones that you only get from Meowcenaries. So.
Yep. And there's low rank ones and high rank ones too. So like we are saying earlier, like you'll be going for a TO weapon, but you have to go through low rank all the way to get up to there. And some of these weapons need some of these rare low rank materials from Meowcenaries too. So,
and much like we were saying, you don't want to do that shit in high rank. Like imagine being master rank and you have to go back to fight low rank Nargacugas to get some stuff that, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like Sarah was saying as well, low rank Tigrex and Zinogre, I never even thought about using the Meowcenaries. Like the weapons, because like Nargacuga weapons and Tigrex weapons are kind of BIS in a lot of different situations. So you need a lot of low rank Narga and a lot of low rank, Tigrex. So it's like, just send your Meowcenaries out. So it kind of lines up nicely as well, because like this will kind of go into a point later on about making money and just like kind of getting parts. But this like Cahoot's Nest up here, this is also
going to go to next as well.
This is also on a 5 hunt reset. So you check your Cahoot Nest, and this can give you like traps, Lagni apples, and in some situations it can even give you like silver and gold eggs. That's kind of rare. You'll get a lot of steel eggs and stuff like that, but this is a lot of passive Zenny and things that like trap tools that saves you 500 Zenny, and you buy a million of those. So you just check your Kahoot nest, you send out your mercenaries, and you come back every 5 hunts, and it's all good to go.
Yep. So they all cycle together. So you can go to the prep area to do pretty much everything in the Buddy Plaza except for Kahoots. So I pretty much almost exclusively go to Buddy Plaza because I only come here every 5 quests to check mercenaries and to check Kahoot.
Okay.
So every 5 quests you do that, and then to go on with that is the dojo, which is where you can level up stuff, your pets, and that's on a 10 quest cycle. So basically every 2 times you do mercenaries, you can re-up your dojo.
And these give your buddy levels, like obviously, you know, later on it's a little bit slower, but whenever you're first leveling Palicos and Palamutes, it is insane the amount of level that you get from doing these.
Yeah.
And you can also use Lagny apples to boost the flames and all this other stuff to give yourself more training rounds and just overall boost levels, and which also gives you more things when you're coming back. So that's nice.
Yep.
And then what is this thing over here? I hear you talk about this thing over here. What is this?
Oh, this is more free items essentially. This is the submarine, or just by habit, a lot of people in Monster Hunter community just call it the farm. They're specifically submarines in this one, but it's all the same stuff. Basically, free items, more free items, so less time you need to spend not hunting or going back to low rank. You talk to Rondine. If you're just in the beginning of the game and you just started, you'll only have 1 submarine. As you progress, you'll get requests, you know, the speech bubbles through people in town. You can always check those if you go to the start menu, and then it's the quest tab and side quests, and you'll see requests under there. And
yes,
there'll be ones that say like submarine and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure Cups is looking at those because he has all of them cleared.
At this, yes, moment. If you're just beginning, you will only have 1 submarine.
You'll start with 1, but yeah, make sure you do these. And I'm sure Cups doesn't. You know, part of this video, we'll get them done today. We'll get all of his submarines done, so you guys can see in real time how little time it takes to get all your submarines.
But this stuff is really good because, like, obviously you're going to be gathering like honey and mandragoras and bitter bugs and stuff like that. But this is like, you know, you'll be able to make a lot of max potions, a lot of ancient potions, and mega potions, just like without having to pick up anything as you go along. And you can also use Lagny apples to get the amount of yield that you get back. And you can also do things like the what's that little thing called, the little buddy boost thing or whatever.
Yeah, so you just use more points, so you just have to come back and check them less. So you use points, and you can kind of focus whether you're like, if you're like, man, I have literally 2 mandragores and I need to get some back like right now. You could do you know, breakneck bargaining. So it's only a cycle of 3 quests, but they'll come back with, say, a stack of 8 as opposed to a stack of 2 every quest, and it costs more points. Or if you're kind of okay, you just want to continue to passively get stuff and not come back, you could do easy peasy or casual. You get less as many, but you only have to come back every 6 quests. And then Lagny apple just kind of extends whatever you've already chosen plus 3 on all of them. So, you know, what I do now that I've been playing for a while is I just do easy peasy, which is 250, which covers it 6 quests, and then I use the apple, which will just give it the last 3, so it's 9. For some reason, they made the submarines a 9 cycle, and everything else in the game, as far as this farm stuff, a 5 and 10. So they don't sync up, which is annoying. But yeah,
you can just miss 1 hunt. You know, do it on a 9 cycle and just come back come back after 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just miss 1. And the thing is, even if you put nothing in here, if you're out of points, you still get stuff. So it's just you'll get more if you use points.
Yeah, I just used a bunch of. I just had to go passively and just got a bunch of 1 mandragoras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also, what's important about the Argosy, just in general, is that there's some pieces of gear that you can only get from using the Argosy. So, like in particular, like armored bream for the bike chest, or the Spio waist that has weakness exploit 2 on it. You get the Toxic Komori from that, which we can talk to you guys about how to get all that stuff if you don't have it yet. But there's some of the strongest pieces of armor in the game currently you can only get from doing the Argosy. So look out for armored bream.
Just like mercenaries.
Right. Yeah, for the layers and whatever other stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of the way the game makes you at least think about these things, even if it's for 5 quests so you can get them. They're for, like Cups was just saying, for Spio waste, which early game is a must-have. Pretty
Insane.
much.
It's like
it's like the only way you're getting weakness exploit.
right.
But you have to use the submarine system and do that. But also a bonus for making more money. There's not any here, but if you go to exchange for items and rare finds, very often she'll have ores that are usually references to older Monster Hunter games, like there's Valhalla Quartz and Burnstone and all that kind of stuff. And they're just money. They're basically eggs. So you use points to get those, and then you sell them for money.
Yeah,
you just check those whenever you come back here, and that's just another opportunity to get money. I always pick those up whenever I see them too.
This is mine, Gardenite, right here. This is 1,000 Kumori points and 20,000 gold, or whatever you want to call it, Zenny. So it's pretty crazy. Definitely check all this stuff. So what this is called in video gaming, and this is called horizontal content. There's vertical content, and then there's horizontal progression content, if you want to call it that. But like this is stuff that doesn't inherently make your character stronger, like raising your item level or whatever skills you get and stuff like that. But this is horizontal content that is definitely worth your time and will make you a stronger player, like as you go along. Having buffed up Palamutes and Palicos and sending out for mercenaries and having all like the best gear that you need, and then properly having Mega Demon drugs, might pills and all this other stuff. It's going to make you insanely strong, and then it's good.
And it's one of those things that's like a passive increase as a player, because the more time you like initially spend here, the less time you have to spend later, which is more time you could spend becoming a stronger player against monsters, because you're spending more time hunting.
Right.
As opposed to, oh man, I ran out of megapots, I ran out of Bonabra shells, I ran out of whatever. So instead of spending your time like, I just want to keep fighting Narga, you got to stop and go do something else, because you can't work on your armor piece or your gear set or whatever.
Right, because no matter what you do, you're always going to need max potions, you're always going to need ancient potions, you're always going to need dash juices. Like, these are things that are not going to go away in Sunbreak, so you might as well just do the forefront work now and not really have to worry about it later on. So I think there's a lot going on here, but like you said, I think we've kind of like set ourselves up for it, that we put a lot of work into it at the beginning, and you can also, we didn't really talk about this earlier, but Buddy Handler Iori, you can scout a buddy, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so if you're, like we were saying earlier, fighting cat, bomb cat, gather cat, all that kind of stuff. If you don't set anything when you talk to Iori and you go to hire, I have it set right now for a fighting cat, but it'll just show you a bunch of whatever. And for people who care about aesthetics and all that kind of stuff, you could straight up design the exact cat you want, and it'll just come back with 8 cats that look exactly like that. And then the things that are random, that will always be random, is their skills, like equip skills, and then the 3 middle of equip moves. So the first and the last one is determined by the cat type. That sheet I was talking about, I'll send that to Cups, and he could probably put it in a link or something like that. The first and the last skill of the cats are always consistent, determined off of the type of cat, but the 3 middle ones are always random. So I'm scrolling through them right here, and you see the first one is Rousing Roar, the last one's Furious, because I have Fighting Cat, but the middle 3 are whatever. And there's a set pattern to which ones those can be, but they're always going to be random. So that's why, if you're like, well, if I can choose everything I want, why is there 7 cats here? Because those skills are random and the equip skills are random. So if you're targeting anything, that's the part that's Monster Hunter, Capcom, RNG. You just gotta hope it comes up if you're looking for anything. If you don't care and you're like, I just want a fighting cat, you could just set the thing to be fighting cat and then just grab one. Pick one that's the highest level to just save you some time.
Right, and you can come back here every 5-10 hunts and see what comes up, and after doing hundreds, if not thousands of hunts, you're gonna get the one that you want eventually. But it is gonna be just that carrot on a string for a little bit until you get what you want. Yeah,
and same thing holds with dogs. You could set a dog to look exactly how you want, and then as far as the RNG, The only thing you have to worry about is their skills, because they don't have,
and that's
like,
way
moves
more
like that.
forgiving. I mean, because you're basically like, their palamutes are more kind of focused on combat, like we're saying. So you're always going to be looking for like crit up L or status up L or something like that, and those usually come pretty dang often. But to get the exact palico that you want, it might take a little bit of legwork.
Yeah, like I'm looking at dogs right now. I see crit up L, status up L, attack. I'm actually gonna get this dog. It has all the good stuff that I would want on it right there. Like status up, crit up, attack up. Like it's all negate stun. Yeah. So, and you can name them whatever you want. And you can also, something that I think is new to this or maybe World. You can rename your pets after you get them.
Yes.
In the older Monster Hunters,
you're stuck.
You couldn't rename them, which was really silly. So you'd have to just get rid of them.
A little bit of
rename them.
A little bit of a fun fact too is whenever you're like getting these palicos, a lot of these palicos are named after like popular people in the Monster Hunter kind of sphere. So Capcom, like employees or community managers or something like that. These are all, kind of references to people that work at Capcom and on Monster Hunter stuff for the most part.
Yep.
So let's see here. So let's see if we see any that are here. Because I know there was Sox, who is formerly the Capcom UK.
Yeah, Sox has been in here. I've seen Yuri.
Yeah,
I've
Yuri's
seen
right
Izo. I think I've seen... I think there was like a Cogs one for Kogath, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's Yuri. Yuri is the Capcom USA, Capcom community manager that just stepped down. But it's kind of cool. Good little nod to some people in the community.
Yep. Socks. Hey, Socks is right here.
There he is. I always get Socks, Cat, and then Yuri Dog for whatever reason. Just seems like that pops up more often. I don't know. But yeah, that's this whole little area.
More, another I guess Easter egg is the DLC Dogs and Cats. Thor is named after Sock's dog.
Oh,
his
really?
dog named Thor.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did know his name.
Mimi is Yuri's cat. I think.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of fanboy knowledge there. And then, of course, there's the training area, but that's like a whole separate video we could talk about for training area. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do.
If you're starting a new save, you do have to come here. I know that's very often. People are like, I don't know where training area is. Like, I can't get it. It doesn't show up on your list. You have to come here and then unlock it by going.
Yeah, you got to take this little boat, and then after you've done it once, you can just hit select or options or whatever it is, and you can quick travel to all these areas, including the training area. But we could talk about that another time, of all the limitless opportunities of what to practice in training mode. But yeah, that's this whole little area, and there is a ton of money to be made here and parts to be had. And that kind of feeds into the other thing. It's like this game and just Monster Hunter in general, it's a bunch of little things that add up a bunch. You know what I mean? So it's like this gets you more parts, and this gets you like might seeds and stuff like that. Because then like the older games, that was a pretty good Zenny farm, was just getting a ton of might seeds from the farm and selling them.
And selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good passive way. If you have 999 might seeds, just start selling those. You're not going to need that many, I promise. And that kind of leads into...
If you do, you can just farm more.
Right. Because, I mean, that's kind of like a passive thing. But
yeah.
So, and then we'll talk about... What we wanted to talk about is a huge bottleneck of this game. And we've kind of seen it before, but it is especially noticeable in this game, is like the Zenny bottleneck. The money is...
insane.
It is wildly expensive. So like
and
here,
it's like an exponential curve the way it is in this game. Like,
yeah,
it's really low in low rank, and then it's super high in high rank.
Let's look at how much it costs to upgrade this stuff. So where are we at?
Are you looking at weapons? Or
yeah, I'm looking at weapons right now. So, and this kind of all stacks on top of each other. So it's 1,800 to make this one, not that bad. 2,400, not that bad. And then you start hitting 9,600, not too terrible. 18,000, and that's just a rarity 5 weapon. So some of these...
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at a popular weapon, right? Like Tigrex or Narga probably are ones most people go for.
Diablos.
Yeah, Diablos. So I'm looking at like Longsword. So like, Longsword or you'll start with whatever. But say you're just going to Narga or a Tigrex. So you have 300 or whatever, 600, cool, 2,000. Okay, that's a couple hunts, and then 3,000. And then now I'm making the actual Tigrex one, and you're at 10K. And you're like, all right, cool, whatever. And then you have 2 more upgrades of 42K and then 56K. Like the jump is huge. Like that's 100K on the last 2 weapons.
Yeah, so by going through the
upgrade.
entire tree is like 250,000 gold-ish. Like it's
Yeah.
you know what I mean, to start, and then you get into ramping up the weapons and like doing various other things to it. And sometimes you want to make multiple of the same kind. So a weapon like bow, you have to
have
go
different skills on them.
Look at the rampage weapons. 15, 20,
Oh,
25,
the
30,
rampage ones as well.
40, and then 50. And then bow uses like 7 rampage bows.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, rampage specifically because it starts right at 15K.
Yeah.
So you're already there.
So
And
you're going
each
to need
one
a lot of money.
5 and then 10
You're
more.
going to need a lot of money in this game. So like we were talking about, like doing your Buddy Plaza stuff and like making a little bit of sales here and there. But there's some also like kind of really cool quick money gathering things. They've also added some event quests that we can talk about in a little bit. But like the main money farm, whenever I don't know why I keep saying Iceborne and stuff like that, but whenever Rise first came out, was going to the lava caverns. So whenever you start looking around, you can check expedition tours. And then there's tour of the islands, tour of the ruins, and stuff like that. And we used to go to a tour of the caverns, and you can kind of scroll over here to see what's like upbreaking or upsurging. So this is a perfect example.
I have it right here.
Yeah, upsurge, mining outcrops right here. So what you would go is you would do the passive skills like geologist and the the bone gathering one, and you're looking for mining upsurges, and then you get the all passive skills that you need to give you more mining like hits, like I guess a better yield each time you hit it. And then you just kind of run around and just gather as much as you can in like the 10-15 minutes, and then you just sell all that stuff.
Yep.
So, just keep an eye out for it, but you basically, I don't think it's a problem to say like just having 99 million Zenny is never really going to be a problem. So,
No,
like
never.
you're going to need a lot of money.
That easy. And we were just talking about weapons, but you make your armor, and the way things start to hit towards these later events, and I'm sure master rank, you want to upgrade it for defense, or else you're gonna make this new armor and be like, I'm still getting like 2 or 3 shot. What's going on? And that costs even more money to just upgrade because you're using the materials for spheres as well as the money, and then you have to do that 5 times for each armor piece.
It is insanely expensive.
Yeah, it stacks up.
So when you start looking around, just go over to the cat here in the gathering hub, go down to sell, go down to item box, and then you can even kind of sort and look around for some of this stuff. But just going through and selling all these stones that you get from mining upsurges. So here's Fusium ore. This is 1,000 per, and I can sell probably like 30 of these. So that's a quick 30,000 there. Carbolite ores. And just kind of whatever else you're picking up. But if you hit those mining upsurges in the caverns and you start selling the rare stuff that you get, because you get a ton of them. So just kind of like go through and check that stuff every once in a while. And you might want to do a few runs. 5 or 10 minutes is going to get you a couple 100,000, which is going to go a long way.
And if it's like pulling teeth, the most boring thing ever, like it's an expedition. So you can just go out there and hunt stuff too.
Sure.
So you can go out there, do some gathering. You're like, all right, this is enough. I need to like do something. You can just go fight the monsters that are out there. And you can take that as kind of a training opportunity as well, because you can cart in infinite times in an expedition. So you don't have to really worry about using resources if you just want to have some fun while just getting some money. I mean, you can go out there and multiplayer too. So Cubs could post that expedition. It'll be a mining upsurge for all of us. We all go out there, we do some mining. Oh, there's a Magnum Hollow, let's fight it. You don't have to worry about wasting max pots or potions or well-done steaks or whatever, because it's an expedition. It doesn't matter if you die. Fight the monster, have some fun, go back to mining, and then you can just kind of do that for literally as long as you want, which is a cool addition they've added.
They come and go.
I mean, they kind of had it. Yeah, they kind of had it in Try, but more so was more prevalent in World and not this game, that you can just go out on a quest literally forever and just gather and hunt
and learn the monster.
Vicious cycle.
Get used to the map, unlock all the stuff, get to the sub camps, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And also get the relic swords and get some of those rare mining things set up and all that stuff too. But selling stuff like this is a really good one. And then you could also do it just like the Cups in Sammy kind of way. Like I think Sammy kind of touches more into getting his money from like a lot of different sources. But like the main thing that I do is I just fight a ton of monsters in this game, you know. and we kill monsters. We're getting pretty strong at the game, so we kind of kill monsters quicker than a lot of players do. But I mean, if you just like look at, the main monster I farm a lot is just Magnamalo, because he drops prisms like absolute madness, and so you can also just sell those things whenever they come along.
Yeah, another popular one I think is Rajang. His stuff sells for a lot
because they're just like fun monsters to fight anyway. So
yeah, pretty fun monster to fight and straightforward. I think Bezel stuff does, but he kind of sucks to fight in this game. But yeah, Magna and Rajang are pretty fun fights, and their stuff sells for a pretty decent amount as well.
Yeah, so I mean, you can hit a mining upsurge every once in a while, but if you're fighting a lot of monsters and you're getting yourself up to like, you know, higher HRs and like a couple hundreds and stuff like that, I know how Monster Hunter players think, and I know how video gamers just in general think. I promise you do not need 79 Magnum Hollow blades. Like, we're going to talk about how you're going to need some more parts later on, you know, for making other things, but you don't need 79 of these bad boys. Go ahead and sell 60 of these, and you can sell them for 4K per. These are the Magnum Hollow blades, but the main thing is like the Soul Prisms, Ghost Prisms, Soul Prisms, like 3,000, and I have 119 of them.
Yeah.
Sell 100 of these and just walk away with the money.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at, like, you know, Zenogre, Carapaces. I got 186 of those. Like I could make everything in the game, and I still would probably have another 80 left.
And that's just from one piece of one monster kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when you're, I mean, if you play all
money to be made there.
The thing is that like Sammy and I play like all 14 weapons, and we experiment with a lot of different sets and stuff like that. So we're just melting through money. It's like you can never have enough. Yeah. Especially when you're experimenting things.
I've hit zero so many times, and specifically in Rise more than probably any other monster.
Yeah. So, you know, you can also sell parts because, you know, it's kind of like the thing where people have a million mega elixirs at the end of a Final Fantasy game, and they just never use any of them.
Always.
Just sell the stuff.
Every time.
Just sell the stuff. You'll make a ton of money off of it. I can't really recommend selling gems or plates or fangs or some of the rarer stuff, Fang pluses and stuff like that. But I mean, all these things.
If you're approaching triple digits and it's a monster part that's not used for crafting, like some of them are used for crafting, especially if you're a gunner, like piercing claws and, you know, screamers and toxin sacks for like poison and parashots and stuff like that. But once you get past that first few pages, it's just monster parts. If you're approaching like triple digits, and unless you're like a completionist where you're making everything, which you probably don't need our help because you know the pain of money anyway, you could sell some of that stuff, especially if you're getting close to triple digits.
And as we said before, if you're checking Coot's Nest, you can check, you know, you can sell these steel eggs and silver eggs and stuff like that. And this stuff serves no purpose at all. So, like the Burnistones, don't think that you're needing it to craft some kind of super rare thing or something like that. Just sell this stuff.
Yeah, there's a page where they're all, if you sort your box, they're all kind of in a row. It's like Golden Fry, and then it's like all the town orbs, Locklack and Dorman, quartz and stuff. And then there's the eggs. All those, that whole series of items are solely just for money. So you could just sell all of them, and you're not going to be like, oh, I want to make this rampage weapon and I needed that. Like, that's not going to happen with those materials. They're just for money.
Right. And some of the, like, it's a benefit of also fighting like high rank and some Apex monsters and stuff like that, is that they have a pretty high drop rate on things like golden eggs and silver eggs. But I know it's kind of like not a lot of players are strong enough or have enough time to just simply fight Apex monsters. So we're trying to give you guys a pretty good spread of where you can get money from and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can sell 14 golden eggs. And there's like also event quests that have come out since then. Like the Sonic one in particular, I think is a pretty good money farm if I remember right. Yeah. So you can go to the event quest and you can go to higher rank over here. And some of these have some kind of insane drops to them. The emergencies we'll just kind of skip over for now, but
yeah, that's basically if you're played the older Monster Hunters, that's like the EX quests, those emergency ones. Like that's just top of the line. Here's the most damage, the most health, the most pain. Here's the hardest quest in the game, kind of thing. Like, so you're not doing those for efficiency, you're doing those for the experience of the quest.
So this is one in particular we're talking about, the event quest, the Super Shady Lookalike. It's got a Nargacuga, so you're going to need Nargacuga parts to make weapons and armor like we were talking about before, because the Narga weapons are very good. And then you can look over here, it's got the Carefree Hedgehog. And then it also drops some parts for some really nice looking fashion, the Sonic stuff for you and your Palico. And then it also has really good gold rewards. So this is another good method of getting some gold.
Yep.
We farmed this one a decent amount, I think. Like
yeah, I mean it's a cool quest, and it's Narga, but yeah, you get good stuff, and that's a high rank one. So the low rank one, which also I think you still get some stuff from this as well. The Gotta Hoard Fast.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to fight anything in it. You're just running around collecting Sonic rings, and I think you get some kind of money thing from it. I forget exactly what it is, whether it's a silver egg or a golden egg or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in low rank and you're still just trying to, or you're helping somebody and you want to just get some money along the way and help them stuff, that's a good quest as well. That's low rank.
Gotta Hoard Fast, what it's called.
To get some.
The young two-tailed fox. I never noticed that. Sonic and Tails kind of references.
Yep.
Okay, well, what else? What else for money?
I think for money, I think that kind of covers it. I was gonna do Dango.
Yes.
And then we could kind of keep it going and go into that expedition and see what you need for sub camps. If you need sub camps.
I'll get to it eventually, man. Don't worry about it. I'll get to it.
All right.
Now I'm gonna go pee real quick, and then we'll come back and talk about Dango, and then we'll keep going from there. I gotta pee real quick.
All right. Cool.
I'll be right back, y'all. Thanks for joining us, by the way, Sammy. This is awesome.
Yeah, of course. This is fun. If y'all aren't already watching, y'all pull up the cup stream. Oh shit, we're partners. We should do the thing, the partner dual stream thing. I think he stepped away already. Let me see if I could do that. I forget that that's a feature, because like Twitch features. Where is that? I think I have to like add the panel. God, this site sucks. Where the hell is that thing? How do I do that? What's up, y'all? Squad it up. That's what it's called. Squad stream. What's up, Chuck? What's up, Colbert? Yeah, me and Cup. So we're doing a little, like I said in the title, we're doing some tips. So we're kind of putting some content together, and then we'll cut it up and turn it into a YouTube. So if I'm not as much in chat as I usually am, that's why. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm present. Dude, where is that? I don't even know how to do it. The UX experience, that's like SMH in my head. The user experience on this site is just not great. It's just not great. How do you quad stream? It should be on my dashboard, right? Shouldn't that be on my dashboard? Wouldn't that like make the most sense? Oh, there it is. I found it. There it is.
All right, I'm back. Drank all that water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hydration. Oh, I just remembered we're both partners, so we can do that like feature that only 8% of the platform can use, the squad stream thing.
What's the benefit of using this thing, by the
way? People can watch the stream at the same time through like official Twitch means. So like if you're using the mobile app or like just straight on the website without going to a different website.
Do I have to accept this or something? Like, how do I squad stream?
Yeah, it should be like I just found it. I've been looking since you left for the bathroom. So it should be on your dashboard, and then there should be like a button that says start squad stream, and then there's like an invite. If I could give you a link directly to it, I would, but it's like
okay,
you got
creator dashboard. We've been partners for like years, by the way. I saw a tweet about how people in the Monster Hunter community don't collab, and I'm like, dude, they're so right. Like,
Yeah.
There's never like really you hardly ever see multi streams, and you hardly ever see like collaboration videos and stuff like that. It's a pretty rare thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like especially on the higher echelon of content, right? You like never really see it. Like we have like our handful of circles. You know, I stream with Labyrinth all the time, and I hunt with Omni and stuff, and you even. But like, especially on the YouTube, I'd like never see it on YouTube.
Yeah, of collaboration videos, especially like duo speedrunners and like, you know, some of the Monster Hunter history channels that, you know what I mean? So there's so many people, and it's like such a good collaboration game. It's such a shame that people aren't streaming together like on the regular.
Of the game, right? That's like a major selling point of the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always just doing my own thing. I just kind of get into the zone or whatever and just do my own thing. I don't really, you know.
Yeah.
It's not good. It is not good. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, to break outside of that.
Yeah, I just get on, hit live, and then just kind of do my thing. But I need to go out of my way to be more part of the community.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also small.
I try to do like this kind of stuff, and like that's. I mean, I enjoy the podcast, but that's like a huge part of it. It's like it's a way easier, I feel like, task to get other people to just collaborate on, because it's not like you don't have to prep or anything. We're just talking. Like that's it. It's like way easier to just get people to do that as opposed to, all right, well, do you want to play this game? You got to set up your stream. You got to set up this. I got to make this. It's like, let's just talk, man.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, it's always like, especially with a game like this, there's so much knowledge to be had that I think a lot of personalities kind of go by the wayside, because it's just like, give me information, give me sets, teach me how to play the weapon. It's like a lot of that kind of stuff, and a lot of the personality stuff goes by the wayside, which is a shame, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
Ray got that Tifa mod easy Patreon and free one. It's good, man. He did well. He made that mod real well.
The brother's starving. But okay, what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about Dango, which I'm glad. This is also, I wanted to have Sammy on, because this shit I do not pay attention to, like, at all. So this is.
There's some good stuff to get here. Not necessarily. It's kind of just general knowledge, and I think a lot of this will carry over to Sunbreak, especially early game, to prepare. But more so, the prepare is the request stuff. So same way, like we were saying with the submarines and sub camps, there's requests to unlock Dango. I guess as an overview, Dango, if you're not aware, is the food system in Rise. So you go to sit down, whether it's in the hub here or if it's in the Steelworks. There's like a shortcut right to it.
They change the name every game, so that's why we call it different things.
So whether it's over here, over there, it's the same thing. And you eat a meal, and it's pretty simplified. I kind of like this system probably the most. The World was pretty good. All the systems before that were kind of too much, in my opinion. I do like the simplified system of World, and even the Dango. I just wish it was like meat and fish and bread and stuff.
Yeah, there's a bit of a translation kind of thing there that, you know, us in the West, we can't really relate to, I feel like.
Yeah,
it makes it made a lot more sense in World and Iceborne when you see the big steak on the table and people are drinking beer and stuff like that. That's something we can kind of relate to. I have no idea what Dango is. So.
Yeah, I've had it like once, so it's like, all right.
Yeah, but this is overall the food system. Go ahead a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, so this is a food system. You start off and there's like a handful to choose from. But basically all these are different kinds of buffs and kind of modifiers that can help you out in a quest. They all help you. In the older games, there used to be like foods and stuff that like hurt you if you got a bad combination or something. The good thing, again, probably another reason why I like this and World is they got rid of that stuff. Because why am I gonna spend money and do this effort to
be
like
sick
hurt myself
and run around slowly? And there was one that would like put you to sleep at the beginning of the hunt too, I feel like. So you just sit there and look at yourself for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So you can't, if you're picking something here, you can't go wrong. Nothing here is gonna hurt you. But there are ones to target that are kind of just general go-tos and ones that will always help you, especially specifically in certain situations. So I know a popular one is Moxie and Adrenaline, which they're both together. So Moxie is one that will basically give you like a second, not a second life, but a second chance kind of. there's a certain health threshold, and if you take a big hit and it knocks you from above to below that threshold and 0, you won't die.
Is it like
Which is
60% of
really
your
nice.
life? I want to say if you're like below 60%, it'll kill you. If you're above it, then it'll let you live, kind of thing.
I think it's like I actually have a mod that puts like a line on my health bar, so I know exactly where it is. I think it's like 30%. So
30,
if you're above
okay.
30%,
Wow. It's much better.
and you get knocked below that, you'll live. It's a pretty, the amount you have to stay in is a pretty big window. And that's very popular on a lot of the quests we were talking about earlier, whether it's like Advanced or the Apex, because a lot of their attacks will just straight up one shot
Emergency.
So that's very.
Emergencies will straight up one
the
shot
emergency
you.
ones. Yeah, the emergency ones, they'll just one shot you. There's advanced ones. There's like advanced Elder Dragons, advanced Narwa and Ibushi. So many of that advanced Narwa is just you'll just get one shot by just the onion rings and stuff.
Also,
so that's
All Mother can
like,
kind of do that stuff too.
Yeah, All Mother as well. Yeah. So that's a popular one. And Adrenaline, which is cool that they group this up. This used to be separated in older games, but if you're below a certain amount of health, you'll get a big damage buff. So you'll see a lot of times speedrunners will like abuse the hell out of this.
And they'll essentially like super heroics like on top of it. So heroics with Adrenaline on top.
Heroics.
And then the one that I always go to is two of them that I always go for is Booster.
Yep.
I use Booster a lot because I do kind of like some speed running and some stuff like that. But this gives you like a tremendous buff and like the kind
of for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so it's pretty significant too.
Yeah, it's a good damage buff for the first 10 minutes of the hunt, which I usually kill most things in less than 10 minutes anyway. So this is like just a nice raw damage thing. It's really good for like greatsword, hammer, and some of the other weapons that have really high motion values anyway. This kind of adds on to it at the top. So it's a good one to have. And then lastly, Weakener, which I guess if you want to talk about Weakener a little bit.
Yeah, so Weakener is like, so the way Monster Hunter kind of works is, again, more of Capcom RNG. And every monster doesn't have the exact same amount of health. So there's kind of a variance on their health. And Weakener kind of helps you put you closer towards that lower health amount. So you can get through the hunt faster, hunt faster, you get more materials, you can craft what you need faster. So it's kind of like, it puts kind of like a debuff on the monster in a sense. And it makes it more likely for them to have the smaller pool of health. Say the monster could have 20,000 health or from 20,000 to 25,000. Or 20,000 to 18. It'll put them closer to that 18,000, and there's like random amount between that.
Yeah, because I think there's a 10%. I think there's on like for speedrunners purpose. I think it's a 10% variance. So let's say a monster typically has 20,000 life. It can have the low roll would be 18,000. So that's obviously really good in a speedrunning situation. And also this kind of stacks on top of each other. Yeah, that's a ton of damage, and that's like less chance for them to hit you and kill you, but that also counts for like capturing a monster, because if you want to capture a monster with less than 25% life, that's a quicker, that's less life that you have to go through to capture it. And if you kind of like eat for a Weakener as often as you can over many, many hunts, this will significantly lower the amount of carts that you have. Because also, like whenever a monster has less than 20% life, that's usually when it's at its most dangerous anyway, is because the monster kind of starts.
Yeah, they start to go crazy.
Yeah, they start to get all
if you played World, the Nergi. Just think of Nergigante.
Yeah, it just
most monsters
goes ham.
have that kind of mechanic.
Yeah, because like especially you'll notice it in this game. I noticed it the most with Teostra, where when Teostra after his horn break, because you break
my god, he goes insane.
Yeah, he starts doing all of his. He does a supernova. He does this lean back breath. He does he runs around like crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So going through and making sure the
monster's
monster's
one of my favorites.
Go
ahead. Another one of my favorites is Polisher, and I know. Once you start getting into set building and stuff, it's very often you'll put in speed sharpener, but sometimes you don't have enough slots for that, and it's very easy. Like I will always take stun res over speed sharpener because stun sucks in this game.
Yes,
and sometimes you don't have enough slots for both. So that's kind of my my kind of reliance after speed sharpening is Polisher. It's basically a baby speed sharpener, so you get a chance. So your normal sharpen is what, 4 swipes?
4 swipes.
Or is it 3 swipes? It's 4 swipes. Yeah. So 4. So Polisher will give you a chance to reduce that to 1 to 3. And it's very often at least. Yeah, it's very often at least 3. I usually don't ever notice it when I get like 4. When I eat for Polisher, it's always like 3. But very often you can get one swipe. So you'll eat for polisher, and there's a chance when you sharpen, you'll just do one swipe, and then you're good.
Ding, and you can run around on your dog while you're doing it too, which is incredible. Save you a bunch of time.
Yeah.
And
so that's like my go-to as well.
So we've talked about a couple of the quality life ones. I guess I'll kind of stick to more of the damaged ones. But Bombardier gives your shells, your sticky ammo, and your gunland shells. So this works for charge blade files, for gunland shells, and for sticky ammo for those of you playing those particular weapons. Temper, also, it makes your aim a little bit worse, but it's not noticeable. But it makes your aim a little bit worse on gunner weapons, but this makes it do more damage. So if you're a gunner, not bow, but light bow gun, heavy bow gun, makes this do more damage. And then Dongo Slugger is good for KOing monsters on like Hunting Horn or Sticky or Hammer or something like that. So these
and then Marksman is for bow.
Yes, Marksman is for bow in that situation. This is also feet. So feet is a different thing. Like, is a more of a bigger deal, I feel like, in the other games. But Marksman also makes your shots do more damage this way. So quite nice. These are the
another one that's also damage that's kind of gimmicky, but is still damage is Bulker.
Yes.
So you do. It used to be called like Cool Cat in the older games. So you do like a emote for I don't know, maybe like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I forget exactly what the number is, but it's an attack buff for 5 or 10 minutes. So if you're just trying to maximize all your damage, I usually run that on like a greatsword set or something. I'll go like
kind of goofy,
booster, and then like bulker booster, and then like fighter or something like that, to just get as much damage as I can, so I can just get that massive TCS or rage slash off.
Yeah, but I've seen like a lot of streamers and stuff like that just eat the default meal over and over again. But just take a look at some of these ones, and every time I eat booster and then weakener, and then I swap in the middle one. So if I'm playing hammer or sword and shield, I go slugger. If I'm playing charge blade or gun lance, I do bombardier. If I'm playing bow guns, I do temper and then marksman. But I usually always use booster and I always use weakener. But you guys can use whatever you want to do.
I pretty much always do booster, and then if depending on the weapon, after that it'll be like bulker, bombardier, slugger, polisher, some combination of those.
There's that. So that's Dongo. And how come, I need to know this, how come my Dongo meals are blacked out, and how do I not make them do that?
So we were saying before, which will kind of lead into my next one, that those are requests.
There you go.
Much like Subcamp. So if you go to that menu we were talking about, in the start menu, and then side quests, and then requests, you'll see a bunch of stuff in here.
Wait. Hang on. We forgot about Dongo tickets. Oh,
yeah. True.
So if you see here, these aren't 100% activation. Some of them are 90. Some of them are down as low as 50. But you can use this thing called a Dongo ticket that you get from special circumstances. But this greatly improves the activation chance. You pretty much want to use these every single time. But the main...
Also, another major thing is always use points. Because we were saying earlier, money is extremely important. So you'll get a ton of points, and you only really use them at the Buddy Plaza. So always use points when you're eating with Dango, like from day one. And I'm sure that'll hold even through Sunbreak.
Yes, I could say just always eat for points on that one. And then so the main method that we do for getting Dongo tickets, and it's a lot easier than it used to do because like in World Iceborne or previous games, you had to like, you actually had to just like straight up luck into them.
You had to run the quests.
Yeah, run the specific quest or luck into
tickets. What was it?
So
what was the quest that we always did? It was Palumu, Puke, and Jagras.
Yes, in the arena.
The event quest. Yeah.
In the arena. But what we do nowadays is you go over here to the Argosy and you go down to trade goods, exchange for items. You get a bunch of raw meat that you buy, again, with points. Grab like 100 of these or something like that. Go talk to the little lady out here. Or can I do them here? I always talk to the lady. No, you got to give the tickets to the lady.
You can do it either way.
Yeah. So do the Motley mix, do your raw meat, max it out, put all 99 in there, pay with points again. And then this gives you, after you just go ahead and skip this animation. Have I never done it here? Oh, there it is. Take all 99 of these, and then you talk to the lady out here, and she'll give you 45 of the tickets, and that's 45 hunts. Or I guess 45 meals you might need to eat several times in a hunt. Talk to her, give her the stakes, and then she'll give you 45 Dongo tickets, and that'll hold you over. And that greatly improves just a little bit of work and greatly improves the activation chance for those really strong skills that we recommended.
Yeah, a lot of them will put it at 100, and the ones that don't will put them at 90.
90.
And again, it's pretty high chance you're most likely going to get what you need anyway. But
Mm.
super easy way to get almost guaranteed dongo skills, because otherwise they're sitting at like 30 and 40%, so you probably won't get them. And it's just points, pretty much. You're just using points to get those tickets. So
Okay, now let's go back to requests.
yeah. So in the quest menu, side quests, requests, as you go through the game, the different NPCs will have speech bubbles and stuff like that. You talk to them and they'll give you requests to either get your submarines unlocked, to get Dango unlocked, to sometimes give you, even unlock some weapons, which is cool. I don't think any of the weapons are super awesome, but some of them are some of my favorites, at least aesthetically. Like you can get the teddy bear design from one of these requests, which I think is really cool. The corn popper.
Yeah, corn popper is
which
awesome.
Is another one of my favorite, which is actually a good gun lance too. It's
it's like best wide, I think.
Gun lance.
Isn't it? One of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Ninja Sword, which is probably my favorite SNS in the game, which is just a mile of green. You never have to sharpen with this SNS.
The notorious origami axe that Seth grinded his way through.
Yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of like weapon combat based stuff in here too. But there's also, your sub camps, which you guys should make sure you're unlocking those. They're pretty easy to find. Like if you're looking at the map, you can kind of see where they are. But if not, you can ask a friend, and they'll just go to that spot, and you just walk in there, and then you unlock a request to get the sub camp.
So I'm not even kidding, man.
Talking about is Dango.
We were playing with like randoms the other day, and there was like people that were above HR 100 that still didn't have all their sub camps and all that stuff, which I notoriously kind of wait on mine as well. But like some of these maps are pretty big. So and the Palamute makes things quicker and all that stuff. And there's a lot of levels to them, like verticality. So, man, that's the last thing you want to do is fall into a hole at lava caverns and then have to run all the way back out and then have to stay on top of the map.
Able to teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go through.
So yeah, there's requests for like your Dango, like the blank spots Cups was just saying. So, and they're all pretty easy. None of them are like, oh, this is gonna take me a week to get through. Like you could do them in 2-3 quests. So you just have to gather some stuff, or some of them are even, I think, just fighting monsters. Yeah. So sub camps are like just kill small monsters and stuff like that.
Tetranodon.
And then you just get these Dango. Yep. One that's really standout that you unlock through here is Dango Insurance, and it's a daily one. So there's some Dango that don't always show up.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have like the little symbol on them. It's like a gourd icon. So those are daily ones, and they rotate every quest. But you unlock ones that can show up in there as well. Like right now I have Carver, which sometimes can make you get more carbs, which is pretty good when you're just trying to get more materials and that's all you really care about. Sometimes you'll get 4 carbs instead of 3. And there's another one called Insurance, which is really nice when you're doing those harder quests. It gives you a free cart, basically a free death in the quest that doesn't count towards the normal 3 that starts a failure. So you get 4. So that's another one. And again, those unlock through these requests that you get as you play through the game. So if I know a lot of folks are players like Cups. You're like, I just want to hunt, whatever. Who are you talking to me? Whatever. I don't care. I'm just hunting. But you can get some stuff that can help you hunt even more. If you just take like a couple quests aside to just do these things. And the Dango one is probably one of them, or the Insurance one is probably one of the more painful request because it's 2 wyvern eggs, which is pretty tedious.
Super annoying,
yeah, it's really annoying. But when you're doing that all mother and you're right at that last section, Magnum has already showed up. You got 3 carts. You would have been over by now, and the skull shows up, and that Insurance can save you 15-20 minutes. So it's very useful to get these Dango.
And also, if you're helping boost like some inexperienced players that aren't very strong, and you guys just start failing Valstrax a lot, it can really make the difference in the last one.
Yep. And same thing for the submarines are also unlocked in here as well. So what we were saying earlier about getting your materials, this gives you 2 more rows of just getting whatever materials you throw in there.
Just insane amounts of value.
Camps. Yeah, sub camps also in here. So just make sure you're taking a look at your requests and filling those out, whatever they are. And you can prioritize whatever you want if you don't give a shit about, dual blades or whatever. Like you don't have to worry about that request or
But some of these are really, really cool
like
stuff, especially like the skins for not the skins, but the actual different weapons, like the painter's brush, the sword and shield, the corn popper, and stuff like that. These are some of the cooler looking weapons and feeling weapons in the game in some situation as well. So they're definitely worth doing. And you're playing the dang game anyway, so you might as well.
Yeah, it's just more stuff to get. So yeah, definitely subcamps, Dango, submarines, I think are some of the most important things to look at in those requests. Especially, I would say if you had to prioritize them, I'd say subcamps, submarine, and then Dango. Like do them in that order. If you have all of them available, those are probably the most important order of getting them done. And then you can kind of worry about the other stuff as you go through the game.
Hey, you got the paintbrush on you right now. There it is. I see it.
Yeah, just switched over to it.
I saw you fighting that Teostra. You had the water because it's a water elemental. So that's a pretty nice little clip.
Yeah. It was a clean dunk.
But okay, I think that's pretty much everything that we wanted to talk about. Besides, like the last thing that we wanted to talk about was just generally just improving at the game. I know that's kind of duh, right? Like just get good at the game or whatever.
We do a Narga hunt and kind of just explain everything it does and kind of the reads or stuff.
Yeah, like what we're looking for in particular, something that people fight Narga a lot, people fight Magnamalo a lot. We could do something like that real quick if you want. But just like there's going to be like master rank or G rank, whatever they call it. They're going to call it master rank. But so usually they add a whole new skill set to the monster that they'll give it. Like let's say a monster has 20 tells or something like that from various ranges. Usually a master rank, they'll add like another 5, 6, or 7 or a whole even new mechanic of enrage or something like that. But that means that it's still it still has those 20 tells basically, or behaviors that the monster has, and kind of there's a way to improve at this game, and then there's a way to win at this game, and winning isn't always the most important thing. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can just trap spam the monster and put it in pitfall traps and sticky the monster and, like, just kind of cheese monsters out. But you're going to go a lot farther as a hunter, and it'll help you learn other weapons more quickly if you just generally know how the monster behaves and how it feels, like how it kind of follows one attack up with another one. So, that's going to really benefit you whenever the game comes out, and you'll just be stronger and ready to go and tear through hunts a little bit quicker. But we'll get into a hunt, kind of just like what we're looking for here in a little bit. But typically, whenever a monster has a couple different modes that it enters. So whenever you first go into a hunt, it's going to be like in a neutral state where it's kind of just relaxed. And whenever you first engage the monster, it'll roar at you, and then the fight kind of begins from there. And then that's just kind of like the neutral state. And then after you do a certain amount of percentage of its life, usually it's somewhere between like 5 and 10% of its life, it enters in an enraged state. And then after it enters in a rage state, it hits harder, it takes more damage, it's more aggressive, it's quicker. But usually it also changes up the tells a little bit of what the monster's doing. So sometimes you'll notice, like in particular, that Teostra, whenever he's enraged, since we were talking about him a little bit, he'll start chaining attacks. He'll do 1 or 2 attacks in a row whenever he's in normal state, but whenever he's enraged and in flame mode, he'll start doing 5, 6, 7 attacks in a row. Like, it's kind of crazy. And notoriously, Rajang in the previous game you would seriously just be watching him fighting for 45 seconds before he would stop sometimes.
You just wait.
And then lastly, on some certain monsters, like Magnamalo kind of comes to mind whenever he's in like Hellfire mode, then his behavior starts to change even in that. So you have like the standard state, the enraged state, and then like the super enrage is kind of typically what people call it or whatever. But knowing what the monster is going to do in those specific states and identifying where you're at is a very important skill to learn as a hunter, because that essentially tells you what things you need to worry about. And I think that this is also why people give the gunners the connotation of not being as skilled to players or something like that, because typically a monster does a lot of melee attacks, and let's go back to the 20 attack model. 15 of those are usually melee attacks. So if you're a gunner, you just avoid all those, and you're basically just dodging that one skill that the monster has where they jump all the way across the map at you. And if you can dodge that skill, then you're pretty good as a gunner. So, but learning these behaviors will really kind of help identify where you're at later in Sunbreak. And then we also know what we know from they told us in the trailers and stuff like that is that they're going to start having combo attacks. So not only will they start
Yep.
having 1 or 2 attacks, they'll have one attack that immediately leads into another one. So they'll attack somebody in front of them and then immediately spin and attack somebody that's behind them or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's more important than ever to just kind of pay attention to what you're looking for in each particular monster, and you get that mainly just by experience, but it doesn't take 1,000 hunts to kind of truly learn what the monster does. And kind of whatever I'm doing when I first learn a monster is I get a weapon that I'm comfortable on, and I kind of just get close to the monster, and then I back away from the monster, and I kind of like see which ways that they attack. And positional bait is something that we'll talk about as well, is where to stand on the monster to get them to do certain ththings. So do you want to hop into a hunt, or do you have anything to kind of add to that?
No, I think that mostly covers it. A general thing as well is, and maybe it'll change a bit more in Sunbreak, but as far as just learning monsters, just about every monster past high rank, and sometimes I think maybe, well, I know from Rise, monsters that didn't have roars in World now do, but that's something to just always be prepared for. I see a lot of players who are just kind of new at the game, run in, they do something, and then they're caught by a roar, and it's like, what the hell's going on? Mm-hmm. Pretty much every monster you initiate is going to do a roar. And again, like I said, pretty much everything after, I think, like Puke in this game is going to do a roar that interrupts you and stops you from moving.
Yeah.
And that's just a kind of an introduction, but they do that as well when Cups was saying when they switch between these states of just regular to enrage and sometimes super enrage, they usually do these roars to kind of signify the beginning of that. And that's just something that you can kind of more symbols that like, okay, this fight's about to change in some kind of way.
Yeah, you can also check your map. It also, not everybody's, if there's a Teostra exploding on your screen, you're not really looking down at the map wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
But you can typically, their icon changes whenever they're enraged and stuff like that as well. But just know that the roar kind of signifies that you're entering into a new phase of a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you want to do? We could do a Narga?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do a Narga.
All right.
But positional baiting, I think, is the most important skill to learn as a Monster Hunter player. And like positional baiting is basically like if you're standing at the head of the monster, they're going to do something that attacks ahead of them. So let's say it's me and Sammy are standing at the monster's head. They're not going to just turn around and start attacking behind them for some strange reason. Like that's...
Yeah. Well, unless there's some weird Rise stuff where sometimes they'll go to just fight a small monster.
Yeah, that's kind of... Yeah, that's kind of not...
Sometimes.
Yeah. Or maybe your Palico or something
like if you're in an arena fight or something, like they're just going to be targeting you. We can leave our pets just so we can kind of have a bit more control of the monster.
Yeah. And then also diversion, like we were talking about, diversion takes the heat off of your Palico Palamute, so the monster's focusing on you. But typically, if you're standing in front of the monster, they're going to do an attack that attacks ahead of them. And if you stand behind them, then they're going to do something that attacks behind them usually, or turn towards you. This is like the concept of head turning that we've, kind of talked about a lot on this stream. Is like predicting head turns, is charging an attack, and then the monster drops its head right in a position because you know that they're coming to turn around or whatever.
Yeah.
Or a read. Sammy kind of refers to it as a read a lot because it is. You're reading the monster's behavior.
Yep. And again, like those things that are always consistent, stuff like roars, that's like hard reads. Like it's when the fight starts, they're gonna roar. So depending on what weapon you have, like I have Charge Blade. I go in, I do counter peek, I'm gonna get files because they're gonna roar, and I can block that. Yeah,
or Met Shurigeki since I'm on Sword and Shield right now. And roars roars kind of have like usually like a little AoE effect, but it's you stand at the monster's head, you're gonna get roared. So you can work in your advantage as well. And kind of roars in particular are just kind of read as general attacks in this game. They kind of send out a little pulse wave and kind of act as hits just in general. So you can use counter skills on it. Like I'll engage with the Shoryugeki here. So standing in front of the monster.
Counter peek.
So we led with the Met Shurigeki. Look, stunned immediately.
Yep.
Beat his ass. And then since we've done a certain amount of damage, we've definitely done 5 to 10% of the monster's life already. He's going to stand up and his eyes are going to glow. And he's going to change position into an enraged roar. So he's going to turn, and we can do it again.
This is another roar.
We do the same thing again.
Yep.
So that's just our knowledge of enrage and stuff like that. And we've done a good amount of... So we've already broke the head, which is kind of crazy, actually. So this is a perfect example. Whenever Nargacuga is not enraged, he only does 1 tail slam. When he's enraged, he does 2 tail slams. So you can kind of dodge the first one and then counter the second one if you'd like. Okay, and then he's going to do a big jump towards me.
Read.
Yeah. So he's going to do a big jump to you after that.
3 swipes, and then he'll turn around and do that big jump, and there's always a huge recovery after that big jump. So that's like one of those things where if you're like greatsword, you can like
stand here,
wire bug your position. Yep. Wire bug your position, and then get your true charge ready or your, rage slash, all that kind of stuff.
And eventually you can even know exactly the distance that they travel as well. So you can spin. He does 2 spins when he's enraged in high rank. In low rank, he only does 1. So the 2 spins are good enough.
And there's going to be more stuff like that in Sunbreak. Like he might do 3 in Sunbreak, for all we know.
And he might shoot out quills or something like that as well.
Yeah.
Big jump here. And then we'll stand up at the head and try to get him to do just a single tail swipe. That happens a lot too. This is really good for AEDs and for sword and shield stuff. But yeah, he'll do a little horizontal tail swipe. Spin.
So he's not enraged. Oh, he still did 2.
Yeah, in low rank he only does 1. In high rank he does 2 regardless. Yeah. But this is just kind of general monster knowledge. Like, we're just kind of running around and seeing what he's doing. We're not really putting ourselves at risk or anything like that. We're not trying to speed around the monster or anything. Just see what you can get away with. I think people worry too much about carding. Just, like, learn the monster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you fail, who cares? Like, just post another quest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a thing that happens a lot. Like, a lot of people are just really concerned with carding. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's just some people just feel that way in general, but like it does not matter. Yeah. Like we've all carded. We've all triple carded. Yeah. Like it's fine. There's no Monster Hunter player who has never carded in the game. I can guarantee you that.
When he furls up his tail like that, he throws 2 sets of quills, and those will KO you. And they'll probably add bleed in Sunbreak, since we already know that's what happens. Historically, Narga throws bleed quills.
Here it is.
Yeah, there's that one right there. So if you stand up at his head, you're going to see the ones that move him forward. Big jump here. You can position yourself right so that you always stand at the monster's head. He'll land right at your feet, and then you look like a stud.
Yep.
And we could even do, after this one, let's do a Rathian, because a Rathian is like one of the easiest monsters to punish if you know the behaviors.
Yeah.
Tail swipe right there. See, he's standing, he's doing the things that are ahead of him. 2 tail shoots here.
Yep, and more bites. There's a little bit of that, what I was talking about earlier. He kind of like went to bite Roggy there. Like sometimes they'll just fight the small monsters, which is really weird.
Yeah.
But like for when he did that big jump, I like went and did my slide or whatever it's called with charge blade to be in position to be right in front of his face, so then I could throw my SAD right there.
And usually if you CC a monster, like hit it with a sleep or a KO or something like that, it'll get knocked out of enrage. So, and after they've been enraged for a while, they can, become exhausted, which is why you saw Nargacuga just sitting there, like breathing real heavy for a minute. But like after you KO a monster or put them to sleep or something, it usually takes them out of enrage. So you kind of start the cycle back over. And after you put a monster to sleep and you wake them up, like 9 times out of 10, they're going to roar again because they're re-engaging the fight, essentially. And the same rules apply. Once you've done another 5 to 10% of their life, they're going to get enraged and roar at you again. So it makes it a really easy, predictable flow of the fight. It's not always easy, but some monsters are a bit easier than others. Tail swipe in front, kind of delay yourself a little bit so you get the hit whenever his head comes back. Tail swipe, a biggie. And it also changed the attack speed, kind of like we've talked about. So now he's enraged again. I use the iframes from the kick up to dodge the roar and come down with a falling bash.
Yep, for me that was just a easy counter peek.
And this is obviously a lot easier to do in solo because you know that the monster is always going to be aggroing you. But once you've kind of like set up, Sammy and I have played together a lot, and we know where weapons need to stand. So we kind of help each other out by standing at the monster's head because we know that's where we both want to be. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like if I stand next to Sammy, I know that we're going to get nothing but head tells for the most part.
Yeah.
Big jump
like
here.
Right here, he's just going to come at us. Oh, I flubbed.
So this is kind of like a synergy that you can set up with people that you play a lot with too. The better you both perform, the better the hunt goes, essentially. Exact time intervals, not time intervals, life intervals. But it can happen in time intervals as well. If you've been fighting a non-enraged monster for like 2 minutes, it's probably going to enrage anyway. And also room changes. People think room changes happen. Room changes happen after a certain amount of time has passed in the hunt, regardless of what the monster's life is like or whatever. You can kind of like sometimes chain CC a monster so that it doesn't get to leave, but usually a room change happens after about 2 or 3 minutes. It's a lot more forgiving in this game than in the previous game because it used to be like 1 minute and sometimes in World Iceborne. So always 2 tail swipes. Back hop on that one. But we've also, like, don't let it like get twisted. Sammy and I have fought Nargacuga literally like thousands of times, so we know this monster pretty well.
A lot.
Another enrage here, so we'll get the
roar. Oh, didn't angle it.
So speedrunners kind of also use room changes as like a tell for how they're doing in their run. So you know that if a monster has changed rooms, then it's probably been like 3 minutes, which is like, you know, then you reset the run or whatever like that. And this is a little bit more advanced, and this is something you guys probably shouldn't worry about for a while, but monster part breaks also tell you how much life the monster has, and, you know, things like limps and stuff like that. But we were talking about Teostra earlier. Once you've broken Teostra's horns, it means he has less than 20% of his life left. So that's why you don't need a life bar. Everybody always talks about life bars with this game. You don't need it because the monster always tells you everything that it needs anyway, of what's going on.
And they've added in-world, Sense World, and in this game too, after, I don't know if it's 10 or 15%, once the monster gets to a certain point of low health, the map will literally put in Rise, it's like a blue skull icon to let you know they're close to death.
So if you think about all the things that we told you, an enrage will happen after 5 to 10% of the monster's life. Then you know the monster. If it's enraged, then you know the monster has 90% of its life left. You know what I mean? And once its second enrages, then you know it has 50% of its life left. Once it starts limping, you know that it has less than 20% of its life left. So it's like, you know what I mean? It tells you everything that you need to know in between there.
The health bar is the monster.
How else can I tell people how much damage I personally did to the monster without those life bar mods or your damage parser?
Yeah, see, this one gives gold eggs. Yes, that's a good one too for money.
So that was 8 minutes, nothing too crazy. But if we were fully going out, sometimes with all the nod, if we were fully focused, we'd probably knock it out in 3 or 4 minutes. Sometimes it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and if we're just hunting to hunt, we'd probably have our pets with us too. That's even doing more support and damage and stuff too.
Positional baits though, and those rules are still going to apply in Sunbreak, which is really nice. The only thing that makes monsters much tougher is their recovery frames are a lot quicker. So you'll be standing in front and you know that you're going to get a front attack, but it's very quick. They recover quickly and they go into the next thing. So, you know, in that situation, like let's say Nargacuga roars, Sammy's going to get a guard point into an AED on the head, but sometimes you ain't got time to do an AED. Sometimes you only get a little side swipe, but that adds up, you know what I mean? So your punish windows are much smaller. We're going to fight Rathian. So do you guys hunt without pets to keep aggro focused on you, or is it just preference? It's preference for everything, but I like to hunt without them just because it feels like a little bit more personal with the monster. I don't feel like I know that it's all me. It's not that the Palico and the Palamute are really helping me out. It's kind of just preference in that regard. But if you're just trying to speed hunts up, then double Palamute, Palicos, whatever, just use them. Or if you're trying to gather a bunch of stuff like Sammy was talking about earlier.
Yep.
So we'll do a Rathian, who is notoriously a monster that just gets trashed by monster knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's also what makes Elder Dragons tough, is because they recover really quickly, they do multiple attacks in a row, and they don't leave you really big openings. So you got to pay extra close attention to the openings that you get huge punishes from. So like,
And in this game specifically, they have like straight up combos. Like there's just moves that are linked together that can seemingly feel random.
but whenever you're first learning a monster, kind of go in there by yourself, you know what I mean? Or with your buddy and just run around and see what it does in certain different situations. And if you kind of like front load your studying whenever a new monster comes out, where you just are, I'm not even focusing on killing this monster right now. I'm just going to spend 40 minutes to figure out what it is, like what it does in certain situations where the openings are. Then that, you know, that knowledge is going to carry you for the rest of your hunts. So sometimes devoting a good solid 30 minutes up front is going to make you a much better hunter for the other hundreds of times that you hunt that monster. What's up, Fire Red?
Yeah, and even for the same idea works for even like a new weapon, right? If like I'll pick up a weapon I'm not as strong in as something else, and I just apply the same idea. Like I'm just gonna look at the monster and see what it does, with the knowledge of this move takes this long versus that move takes this long on both ends. That the monster's moves and my weapon's moves, because
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's like they're like a fighting game. Every weapon's a different character, so they all react differently.
And that's why you see a lot of players that play like really slow weapons, like Greatsword, usually are big studs at the game, like in a lot of different aspects, because Greatsword is so slow that you have to know all of your openings.
Every single. Yeah.
And if it's a Greatsword opening, that means that it's an opening for every other weapon. Because it's not like dual blades, you know, where you're like, oh, that's an opening for dual blades. And you're like, well, that is not an opening for Greatsword, though.
Yeah,
so in Rage Roar,
anything with that. Yeah.
So in Rage Roar there, Sammy got the opening on it before I got there. So now he's enraged. We're gonna start seeing Rathian throw fireballs and backflips.
How I got there quicker was using a sub camp. So that's a sub camp example right there.
He beat me.
It straight up being efficient in combat. It's not just like this is a number thing I have. Like I spawned, went to the sub camp, and got right to Rathian.
So now she's enraged. We start seeing fireballs. This is going to be a triple fireball here. 2, 3. And then we'll also start seeing backflips which poison you. Another triple fireball here.
Oh, that's
a ride. So we'll go ahead and sharpen. Sammy's good on sharpness, so I'll just go ahead and sharpen while he takes them out. Every second a monster is alive. And I do think, Ryan, I think that's why people misunderstand a lot of weapons like Longsword and Insect Glaive and stuff like that. They say the weapon does no damage and stuff like that. It's just, no, it's a high uptime weapon. So you have a lot of small openings, but you need to be constantly sticking to the monster and opening, you know what I mean, and just attacking them at every opportunity that you get. Otherwise, you're going to have low damage.
Yeah. That's like one of the things I always struggle with dual blades, because I generally play heavier, slower weapons.
Yeah.
That like I use that mindset in dual blades, and I'm just like, this is taking forever because I'm not always attacking.
Yeah, I'm just like waiting. You know, you're just like waiting for AED openings in your brain, but that stuff doesn't exist for dual blades. You need to be punishing after every single attack that the monster does. So you need to be staying as close to danger as possible without getting hit. So it can be equally tough. So, you know, you might feel like some people might feel like they're, you know, I'm not dying and I'm doing more attacking, so that means that I'm a better player kind of thing. But you should be constantly attacking the monster's dual blades to make up even a fraction of the damage as a Greatsword tackle would get every 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
The backflip, anytime the tail hits you, can poison you. Not on the side swipes, just on the vertical swipes. But, I mean, that's different for Apex Rathian and, you know, Gold Rathian and stuff like that. It's all very different. But Rathian can hit you with multiple status effects like fire and poison and stuff like that, and KO as well. So she's enraged. She's getting a little bit lower, so we're going to see a double backflip here. So sometimes she just does the single backflip, sometimes she does double. And we were talking about earlier how like monsters get more dangerous the lower life they have. They kind of start entering like a desperation kind of mode. So Rathian starts doing double backflips because it's like her most dangerous move.
Jesus. There we go.
Then I think I'll actually just turn this into like 7 videos over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Cut it. Yeah, just spread it out.
Yeah.
Each topic will be its own.
Mm-hmm. We were just going to have like an hour-long video, or we were going to just have like an hour-long talk and turn it into a 15-minute video, but I think we'll probably just have to do like 8 videos. So we knew that she was going to do 2 backflips. So we dodged the first one and then positioned ourselves in front of her to get the second one, and then we hit her with wire bug moves and dunked her out of the sky, and then we fucking killed her. So various stages, we got the opening roar into a KO, we got the enrage roar, we got multiple fireball dodges, we got a couple backflip dunks and everything like that. It's just knowing exactly what the monster's going to do in certain situations. We knew when the time frame was going to change from single backflips to double backflips, so we were able to punch off of those each time.
Yeah. The video for this one, all you, because I was just monster mashing this whole
fight. You were beshotting it up.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool stuff, and it feels really, really rewarding once you've gotten a monster pretty like intimately figured out. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's if you've played fighting games, it may not look like it, but the comparisons between the two are almost kind of countless. I mean, it's a Capcom game, so it makes sense, but it really feels like you're reading your opponent. You've learned their patterns, and you're able to just punish their patterns.
It's a PvE fighting game, essentially. Like when you're fighting computers, there's no difference between fighting a Street Fighter character that's a computer as compared to a monster. It's about whiff punishing. You'll know ranges of how far Rathian tail swipes reach and stuff like that. Move out of the way, come back in, whiff punish, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And I don't think there's a single feeling like it in video gaming, honestly. I think that's what makes Monster Hunter special.
A lot of other games try, but they don't nail it as much as Monster Hunter does.
Yeah, I mean, I think the closest comparison is obviously like the Soul series and stuff like that, but those are both very different games as well, in and among themselves.
Yeah.
Life bars and the fact that they're kind of like singular encounters throughout a storyline or like a world, it just makes it very different.
It's more of like a duel.
Yeah, that's more of like a duel. This is more of like, it's just kind of like a boss rush game, and Dark Souls games are not.
Yeah.
So, and usually like Dark Souls games, the monster or the bosses will still have like 10 tells or something like that, and more combo abilities and stuff like that. But the monsters are a bit more reactive to what's going on in Monster Hunter because they're taking care of 4 different hunters at once.
In Souls, they have like a script, and you just got to learn the script.
Yeah.
As opposed to, it's a bit more, again, like a fighting game. It's a lot more of a back and forth. Like the monster is, I mean, it's like a joke of reading inputs, but like the monsters are literally reading your inputs and then doing what they do off of what you've done.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty crazy in this game, and I think we'll see more of it in Sunbreak, is wire falling. So some monsters have, like the newer monsters, like Magnamalo, for instance, has moves that hit multiple times. So if you get hit by the first one and you wire fall out, the second hit will hit you and kill you. Or if you don't have wire falls. Can you show your layered?
Yeah. Push has the same thing. It'll have, it has like a beam that'll send you in the air, and if you don't have any wire falls, it's straight up going to just air blast you again, and then you're dead.
Yeah. So you got to save wirefall stuff, and then there's some monster moves that you got to, it's multi-hitting, assuming that if you get hit by the first one, you'll wirefall and get hit by the second one. So sometimes you have to stay on the ground and dodge 2 or 3 attacks and then stand up into the last one or get out of the way, something like that.
Yeah.
Just don't get hit, no need to wirefall. True. But it does, like, even if you don't get hit, it's important to know, like, since, like, for instance, we were fighting Nargacuga, if you counter peak performance, the first tail swipe or spin, you're going to get hit by the second one.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to iframe the first one and then counter the second one. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Even like, and some moves they've changed from previous games to now, like Tio's Fire Beam. Yes. That used to just be 1 hitbox, but now that's 2. So like I can't counter peek that first swipe. I got to dodge or block or some kind of super armor and then counter peek the second.
Yeah, and that's why like people, I feel like they're like, oh man, it's just the same monster, it's just the returning. Like, no, they changed the monster to fit the scheme a lot in these games, and like that's
Yeah.
that's the pretty clear thing. So like in World Iceborne, dodging or shouldering or guarding the first flame, you couldn't get hit by the same flame multiple times. So you just countered the first one, and you had a gigantic opening to follow up on Teo. But now that's not the case anymore. So it completely changes the flow of the fight, because now you're not just you're not positionally baiting that fire breath over and over and over again. You want to do something else now. So it's pretty cool. Let's fight Teo since we keep talking about him.
All right, cool. Take some GS.
A little bit of great sword.
Oh, let me let me change my layered on the great sword.
Oh, do you have the Buster sword?
Yeah.
I don't like the direction Monster Hunter is taking, where moves will just evolve to multi-hit ticks, since the devs have to take into account guard points and counters. I don't really mind it, because there's still just like the singular hits that monsters will kind of also always have that. But there's something in gaming called avatar strength, and the stronger you make your character, the more you have to scale up enemies to match that kind of power level. And like right now, our power level as hunters is kind of like absurdly strong, because we have wire falling, we have all kinds of ability, we have all kinds of parries and counters and stuff like that. So they need to make the monsters tougher and faster and more reactive. And like a good example in the older games is that a monster would run at you and then turn 180 and then start attacking you again. And then they were like, hey, this isn't where our hunters are beginning to head turn predict, and they're just blowing up monsters in 2 minutes. So now we need to have them attacking while they're turning and stuff like that. It's constantly a give and take between the devs.
Like
and
Monster Hunter 1, it would like, if they were 180, they would do 290s and then like look at you. So that's like so much downtime for you to just read and do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. So they keep making us as hunters stronger. So they got to make the monster stronger as well. I know another notorious adaptation was they gave us mantles in World Iceborne. So the temporal mantle just dodges attacks for you. You put it on, you just start dodging like crazy. So they needed to add a bunch of passive sources of damage like AoE and status effects and dots and undodgeable mechanics like Eschaton Judgment. So they got to put that stuff in to balance out the strength that they've given to the player. Doesn't that just lead to power creep? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, things got to get bigger and better. You can't just recreate Monster Hunter 1 over and over and over again. It's like that's just how life is, right? Like they made 100 Friday the 13th movies, and now Jason is literally in space. Like, so like Mario games, what are they going to do with Mario? They keep putting him in the galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, Odyssey.
He's just in space now.
He's just in space. That's the default Mario now, is he's spaceman.
The weak slaps from the flinch free slaps to like when you fight an AT monster, Nerg does a flinch free slap and it's like a quarter your health.
Oh yeah, so that's a power creep from
stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a power creep from Rocksteady Mantle and Temporal Mantle as well. They have like light hitting moves that don't knock you on your butt or activate Temporal Mantle, and now that shit does a ton of damage. So if you get hit by a bunch of small moves, now you're dead.
Yeah. Dude, that one combo that Nerg used to do, like the double swipe, the like kind of claw
swipe,
one, that seeing that in AT, I was like, oh, I'm dead. Okay.
Yeah, tempered ruiner that would one shot gunners. Like if you got hit with both paw swipes, it would kill gunners like outright. That's why Basil was a good monster. A bunch of tiny little explosions that would add up and led to a lot of AoE that you had to deal with. Or Teo. Oh, he went to the other side. Yeah, subcamps. This is probably the most egregious example in the whole game. Is if you do not have that camp, if you do not have camp 1, this would take me seriously like 5 minutes to get to this Teo.
So I might die here because this is great sword.
Yeah, and you got to trade.
Yeah.
So that can be an example of how multiplayer can be kind of tough, because I thought he was aiming for me, but he was aiming for Sammy, so I dodged into his attack like a moron. So we got to... Rise Basil.
Teo multiplayer is really tough.
Because he just has so much AoE.
Compared to single.
And so another reason we kind of keep talking about why Elder Dragons are tougher. So Teo has multiple forms. So he has Flame mode, and he also has Blast mode. He's currently in Blast mode right now. And then Flame mode. They have totally different tells, and you need to identify by just the way the monster looks how he's going to behave for the next multiple hunt. So now you have 40 tells that you need to know instead of 20. So now he's knocked out of Blast mode. So he's going to be in neutral stance for a little bit, and then we need to kind of wait and react to see if he's going to be Blast or Flame mode whenever we come back out of this. He's going to turn around and ignite these. He doesn't turn around for that. So that's a pretty nice little opening for something with good gap close.
And most of the ignites, he does that thing where he waves his head. So that's, depending on your weapon, that could be a lot of really good openings. Like, generally, for Charge Blade, whenever he does that move, like a move like this where he raises his head up, that's an AED.
That's an AED every time. And that's a behavior right there that he just did, and we call that a taunt. And sometimes after a monster, we'll do Rajang after this to explain taunts as well, because he's a really good example of it. But sometimes a monster always follows up an attack with a taunt where they sit there and they shake their head and they do like a tiny little roar at you. But that's a gigantic opening for a lot of monsters.
Yep.
Sword and Shield is so satisfying. It's really, really cool in this game. Yeah, Seething Basil was awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the best version of Basil we've got.
For sure.
Regular, Seething, and then Rise.
No, not emergency. Just normal Teo. So he was already enraged and in blast mode, and whenever he does like that little run attack and it's got blast, he'll just ignite it immediately. But then he entered like his super enrage, and now he does 2 attacks out of it. So it's just kind of knowing where you're at in the hunt and which things you can and can't punish. There's also some things that you can do with writing that's kind of interesting. Like we said, a monster will change rooms after, let's say, 3 minutes. If you know that it's been like a couple minutes and you get a monster ride, you can just make the monster change rooms so that they don't change rooms after you're done. So now he's in flame mode. You can tell by like the flames that are around his body. And now he does a lot more breath attacks like this. This is like his biggest opening that he has. But so let's kind of to reiterate, if the monster leaves at 3 minutes and it's been 2.5, sometimes you can use your monster ride to make them change rooms, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you're kind of making it on your terms. I hate that move. That's my least favorite Teo move, is the jump.
Yep.
So he runs, turns around,
Which
and does the
like
double breath.
The most Monster Hunter of moves.
So see how he's in flame mode and he's doing just a bunch of hard-hitting flame moves that hit extremely hard, whereas blast mode is a lot more mobility and him trying to wear you down with multiple hits.
And if you're not running stun res, those blast moves are very likely to stun you.
Sure. We can explain, that would be probably like a whole nother video talking about how damage calculation works, but even if it's an elemental attack, fire isn't going to protect you. It still has a really heavy physical counter aspect to it.
Yeah.
You think we'll get Lunastra? No, I don't think we'll get Luna. How do you feel about Sunbreak turning Wyvern riding into an optional thing? I think that's what everybody wanted. I think people just want more options.
Yeah.
I think people want more options when it comes to elemental, to status. It's giving the player more right to express himself is no big deal. Is nothing but a W, IMO. So we knocked him out of like super enraged, so he's going to start back at normal, at default, especially now that we got a KO. And when you start getting like better at the game, whenever you KO a monster or knock them down or something like that, they always have the same down timer. So you can kind of start predicting, you know what I mean? You know your full rotation of what you can get in while the monster's downed.
Yep.
And if they're already knocked down on the ground, you can't knock them down again, right? So you can kind of cook your damage a little bit, especially on Greatsword. Like, so Sammy's playing Greatsword. And so you can kind of like do a couple hits and then hit your biggest hit as the monster stands up to flinch them. So it's kind of nice because you can't flinch them if they're on the ground, right? So that damage is kind of already there just waiting.
A good one for that is Tigrex and Narga, because every time you break their wing when they're standing up is a knockdown. So a lot of times when the monster's down, you can do some damage on the arm because you know it's going to break, but then you aim the rest of your damage at the head, then they stand up, and then you hit their arm, and then they'll fall over again. And you can kind of cycle that same thing for both arm breaks and just get a whole bunch of downtime.
That's why when you watch really good speedrunners, you're like, oh, it's all they do is it's just the monster just stays on the ground. It's like, yeah, because they're cooking damage is kind of what they call it. Like, you're cooking head damage, you're position, like you're doing a certain amount of damage to one arm, knocking them down, toppling them again with the head attack, and then breaking the other arm, and then putting them to sleep, and then KOing them, like... It's layering all your forms of damage to make sure the monster doesn't get to play. It's pretty impressive to watch at a high level.
Nice.
I think it's a good thing that they did in this game to balance out Apex monsters and Elder Dragons as well. They gave them all some sort of topple mechanic like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Breaking Valstrak's head, or I mean chest, head topple on... head topple on what's his name, Apex monsters. So Tail, Hornbreak, we know that he's got less than 20% life now, so we can kind of just, we know that he's going to die soon. Fuck Wyvern riding. I don't mind it. I think it's the best riding mechanic that we've had in any game.
I don't mind it either.
I just don't like that it's forced.
I feel that way too. I think a lot of it has gotten the slack because of the fact that it's forced, but I think as a system, oh shit, I might be out of here. Oh. I think as a system, it's like the best we've had.
Yeah. I think so, because a lot of times it's forced and takes a really long time.
Yeah, like the only problem we have with it is like being fixed, right? Like you look at like Iceborne and Wounding, and like that problem couldn't be fixed. Like the game was made around Wounding. Like, so, we just had to deal with it.
So what did we do with riding in the last game? We mounted the monster and then just jumped off of it. But in this game, you just wall bang it one time if you want. You can do 3, or you can just do it once. Quicker. Yeah, and just get it over with.
You just deal with it, get it over with, and then like you're right back into content, as opposed to air combat, as opposed to like World and Iceborne. Like, here's this mechanic, I'm ignoring it, and like kind of just wasted damage. Like you kind of wasted time, but you also kind of wasted damage. Would have been like a knockdown.
Yep.
So like when you're soloing, like sure you're gonna get more damage just fighting it, but like in multi, like that's a damage opportunity for all other 3 people.
And they balance it around that too, which is why when somebody's Wyvern riding, you get like 2 damage a hit off of it, because otherwise you just ride it forever and get all kinds of free damage. So now Teo's got no life, and he's going into flame mode, and he's just going to run around and go insane and do all of his big Hail Mary attacks. He's going to do this. He's going to do a lot of the long breaths. He's going to do runs around. He's going to do supernova. He's going to do all kinds of crap. So another heavy-hitting breath move. What do you know? He's probably going to lean back here and do one. There it is.
Oh, God. Oh, worth.
Oh, supernova, what do you know? Should be dead relatively soon.
Yeah.
So notice how he went from enrage and flame mode to a rage and blast mode just like instantly, because he has no life left. Just kind of desperation over and over again. That's why it seems like people are not clutching the hunt out, but the fight is significantly harder at the end than it is at the beginning, and the last 20% is way harder. one of the iframes for that backstep, whenever you first started, it's like over a second of iframes.
It's insane.
Yeah. I don't think people would have as much complaints about all the counters and stuff like that if things were harder to do. But these are pretty forgiving counters and guard points and stuff like that nowadays, I feel like.
Yeah.
If they were harder to do, like Valor
all over the
longsword
place.
parries and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they probably wouldn't have as much problem with it. Flinches are also part of the damage calculation thing that we were talking about, too. Flinches happen before knockdowns, and flinches let you know how much life the monster has as well. But that's getting a little bit too advanced for some people. Whoops.
Jesus Christ. The rage / finish. This is PC port.
Delicious. So I think it's like everything that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we covered a ton of stuff, seriously.
Yeah, that's a solid 2 hours of content to cut up.
Mm-hmm. Now
we could probably honestly stretch that out till Sunbreak release.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know. Do a couple videos a week, just have it all done.
Yeah,
work on it in my free time. Now we just get to hunt. Kind of keep talking about it a little bit, but I don't need to carve anyway because I have a million Teostras. And I would just fight him again anyway if I needed to. Yeah, back hop whenever you first start the back hop. I'm gonna do the sword and shield guide next. I got about halfway through it, then I was like, man, I really don't like this. I had made the mistake of like, hey, I'll just cut up my stream VOD. And then I have a 6-hour stream VOD to go through all the tips and everything like that.
That shit sucks.
I just need to sit down, do like a 5-minute video, edit that. You know what I mean? Like do like 5-minute chunks and then edit that down.
Yeah, I'm going to actually just put a timer I'm sending you just so I know where we stopped. So I know where to cut it.
It was about an hour and a half, I think, that we were talking. No, it was more than that. It was about 2 hours, I think.
Yeah. It's good tech for new players to learn that non-target monsters on map. Yeah, that's a good note, right? For leveraging wyvern riding. If the monster that's on the map isn't a target, it's pretty easy to engage wyvern riding on them by hitting them with silkline attacks or even just aerial attacks.
You'll see that a lot.
Way easier than the actual target.
It'll be like a 4-man hunt, and 3 guys will fight the main monster, and the 4th one goes to get the ride and brings them all the way across the map to get, the top one, all that stuff. It's really good.
Yeah. Do you have to use a switch skill? No, you can. It's more likely with switch skills, but you can do aerial attacks too. When anything that you do and the number has like that blue aura around it are the moves that count towards wyvern riding.
Yeah, so aerial moves, switch skills, and I think that's really about it.
Yeah.
So
and then other monsters attacks as well.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden because like you'll be on the ground and it just looks like a normal move, but like on Charge Blade, for instance, whenever you hit counter peak performance, the next hit is a mount move. So it's like it could be an SAD or whatever. Aerial Greatsword Superior, sorry, not anymore. Aerial Greatsword is butchered in this game. Let's fight. Do you have like an Apex Rathian or something?
I got whatever.
I got an Apex Blos. Let's do this one. Apex Blos.
I don't think I've taken IG to that one yet.
You gonna do a little IG? Could do a little IG.
Yeah.
Emergency
Take to the skies.
Personally, I prefer the air. They killed my boy, Aerial Greatsword. Aerial Greatsword was way too strong and way too easy to do.
It was I don't believe that was intentional at any point. Like what Aerial Greatsword was doing in World, I don't think was ever intentional.
I think it just shows as well. Like I'm not trying to be like an asshole or like superiority or anything like that, but it does crack me up how attached everybody gets to blatant cheese strats of like of sticky ammo and aerial greatsword and aerial hammer, and it's just
they nerfed slash ammo.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, man. Like,
you shot the monster from a mile away and did 200 damage to it, and it's like.
Butchered and Iceborne after Rioza saw the Leshen speedrun Lesh greatsword video.
One hammer, 3 greatswords.
So, yeah, it's like, well, we got to get rid of this.
Yeah, and they did too, didn't they? Do that at like the end of Iceborne too, I think.
Yeah.
I'm generally really excited for Sunbreak though. This game has
too, man.
Has
the Windows
endless.
video, the weapon videos, like, really got me. Like, I mean, it's Monster Hunter, right? So we're always excited for it. But I was like, okay, I'll look forward to it.
Yeah.
But like the Greatsword and Switch Axe video got me like, all right, I'm ready to fucking game.
Yeah. I mean, in particular, I feel like this game's base has just limitless possibility of whatever they want to do.
Really, man. Like, just as the game. I mean, the engine is like something people always like to talk about, RE engine and stuff like that. But like, just the mechanics of this game alone, just you can do whatever.
Just like, the movement and the switch skills and
base, and just do anything with it.
Yeah, switch skills are sick. We were kind of talking. We did like a tier list yesterday of the coolest ones, of which ones got us the most excited. Yeah, which weapon trailer was the best? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, it's like Greatsword and Switch Axe tied.
Yep, those were top 2 for us.
For me.
Greatsword and Switch Axe were the top 2. And we did top 4 were Greatsword, Switch Axe, Insect Glaive, and Longsword.
Yep,
were our top 4.
IG was gonna be the next one, and then Longsword. Now that I've played more IG, because I hadn't really played it much in Rise, like I get it even more now. It's like, being able to get extracts while doing my aerial attacks is insane.
And then also the Bugzooka, like just having like a nice nuke on Insect Glaive that you get by using your extracts, and it's just sick, dude. It's like weapon synergy is what gets me really excited.
Same. Like being able to time that, like, you know, your buffs are wearing out, so you throw the big bazooka and then you start over, so you're not really wasting any downtime. You're gonna lose them anyway. Like,
Or you're fighting a flyer, you hit him with the Bugzooka, dunk a monster, close the gap, gather all your extracts, and then wyvern dye them while they're still on the ground. It's just like, that sounds insane, like, and just super rewarding.
Yep.
Let me think of what was in A tier. Dual blades, gun lance, and something else. I felt like it was an A tier. Oh, light bow gun.
Hammer? Oh, light bow gun, yeah.
For me, hammer was the very worst one.
Really? It's the worst one? For me, it's lance. Like,
Lance was the worst
memes aside, lance was just like, this is not addressing anything that makes me not want to play this weapon.
Yeah, I think lance was like C tier for me, but hammer and hunting horn were D tier for me.
Oh yeah, hunting horn as well. I actually forgot about hunting horn. It was so low tier.
My main argument about those two was that everything that we already have is more interesting than what they showed us. Like, if they had just revealed impact crater, I would have been like, hell yeah, like hammer is godlike. That is so cool. But it's like, we already have these really cool things like slide beat and earthshaker on hunting horn, and and then it's like, oh, now we have like a little spin that, you know, on hammer.
I like
cool.
like impact crater for me is just like, I don't know, it's just like a buff. It's like oils, it's like the sheath on greatsword. It's just another thing I need to just have up to do more damage, so it's like pretty boring. The other thing though, I think is really cool, because I like the spin, but like then I feel like so stuck after it. So that kind of like is a new spin. And I think a weakness for me is just new animations. If I get a new animation for something, I already like it. And that's like a new animation we haven't had.
Yeah.
That like
that makes
spin,
sense.
uppercut, whatever. It's why like Greatsword was so sick, because that's like everything there was a new animation for that weapon. Like we've never seen that anywhere.
Yeah, and like, just like what you know about the weapon as well can get you really excited for it. Like, this is something that Greatsword, like the possibility of being like really good for elemental or whatever else, It just lets you play a bunch of different ways and make a bunch of different sets, which seems really exciting. Which I actually had Charge Blade, I think, up in B tier because it could give us
I like Charge Blade.
Yeah, like more Savage Axe options, and the firing pin seems awesome.
The only thing I'm like kind of unsure about with it is like if I need guard. If I don't need guard, then that move is awesome.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing I'm apprehensive about. Because like that's just a more combo-centric peak performance option, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So yeah, those 4 were in S, and then dual blades like bowgun, gun lance were in A for me.
I think heavy bowgun's B.
Yeah, I had
like it's like it's heavy bowgun, so it's gonna fucking shit out damage no matter what they do.
Yeah.
But I think getting siege fire is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I thought it was like kind of I had heavy bowgun in B as well, and I didn't put it on how strong I think it's going to be because bow and heavy bowgun still look like it's going to be dumb as hell for how strong it is.
Yeah.
So I think I had bow in like C tier because it was just like basically 2 attachments, and it's not as cool as aerial aim or
is cool at all.
Not as cool as Herculean draw or aerial aim, in my opinion.
Aerial aim is just insane.
Yeah.
Can change a lot of that stuff. Not the guard skill specifically, maybe CB shield buff. Yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. There's like Charge Blade is such a nuanced weapon that like they could show us anything. I mean, they could have showed us counter peak and like we're not seeing the gauge or the files or anything. So like it's hard to tell how useful something is.
Yeah, that's why we're never really too reactionary about this kind of stuff. Like people complaining that Lance doesn't have anything good. Like that shield buff that everybody's talking is like Resonant Sleep or whatever. That could give you like a freaking 20% damage buff. Like you have no idea how godlike that thing is.
Yeah.
It's just, is it wowing to your eyes? Not really.
Yeah.
Or it could give you earplugs, or I don't know what the hell it'll do, but
yeah.
It's just right now is how pretty is this move?
Yeah, exactly. And like I don't need a diving wyvern on Lance. Like that's not gonna make me excited to use Lance.
Yeah. I was like, it could be kind of cool with like, you know, Anchor Rage. You know, you do an Anchor Rage, you get the red Lance, and then you come down, you do the descending thrust thing. That's a kind of a cool little combo interaction thing, but again, I'm not like, it's just spiral thrust turned on its side, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like up instead of forward. Like, all right, cool.
DB Silkbind is sick as hell. Yeah, absolutely. That move is so cool. That's why I had dual blades up in A, and it's a it's a double. It's a double wire bug one because he uses 2 wire bugs to yank himself into the air. It's like it's really cool. Yeah, the spiral slice looks godlike. And then what's the other thing that it had? Oh, the new ground combo. That's that little sidestep move.
Oh, the new slide. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that you can do it out of the air. You can go demon flight and go straight into the aerial slice thing.
Slice, yeah.
Oh,
the KO. Dude, Tetrasize is so fucking cool.
You like Tetraseal?
I think that's what it is for me. It's new animations because it's like we've been playing this game for so long, and I've like seen this monster or this hunter move this way for so long.
Yeah.
So when it just looks different, that just gets me excited, and that's exactly what I do with IG. I use the parry opener and I use Tetraseal because it's just a new animation and it just feels cool.
I was trying out Tetraseal with like status stuff. You know what I mean? It can be kind of cool. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I use IG, para IG. Like I've layered this IG, so it's not actually water.
Yeah, because we're probably, I don't know if we'll ever get new weapons, honestly. I don't know if we'll get that for a very long time, honestly. So the weapons doing new things is always really exciting, obviously.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like I don't think we like need new weapons when they are able to do this kind of stuff with it. Like the Tetris animation is awesome.
And like fighting games have been doing this kind of stuff for a while, but you can like redesign, right? Like Ryu isn't the same character that he was 20 years ago, so it's like you can use
Not at all.
You can give it like a new identity, right? Like Hunting Horn has a completely new style of play and all this stuff. That
I think that's a perfect example. Like Hunting Horn is just straight up a different
bow,
weapon,
dude. That's like
every game before.
Isn't it so weird? Like the revisionist history of this is like how bow has always been now, and
bow from World to, I mean, like it's different in this game too, but like from previous to World, like it was just a turret weapon.
Yeah,
that's all bow was prior to World. It was like a turret, you stand still, shoot. But like you can start walking again sooner. Like that was it.
So it's a completely new identity.
It's a part of your combo.
But now that's like people will never see bow the same way. It is the new bow now, and it will never go back to that way. So you could always reinvent a weapon, and who knows? I think Gunlance is in desperate need of a redesign.
That's real. Me and Lavin were talking about that, like from a animation standpoint and from like mechanical standpoint, like the separation of wide, long, and normal that's just not needed. Just put it all in the weapon.
And use different like you can do charge shells at different times. Like you can use charge shells in neutral and then normal, like when it's knocked down or whatever else you want to do. Like they could do anything that they want to do with it. They could make it like elemental shells or status shells. They could, since it's Gunlance, they could make it zip all over the place like Insect Glaive. They could make it do whatever the fuck they want.
And it's like almost one of the most supernatural weapons in the game. And it has like one of the most grounded like movesets, which makes like no sense.
That was the main thing. That's kind of funny that you bring that up because we were talking about that yesterday with Hunting Horn and Hammer. Why I wasn't really excited for the spin on Hammer because I was like, as humans, we know how hammers exist because it's a real thing. So I know that me putting a hammer on the ground and spinning it does literally nothing compared to just wailing on somebody's head with it. You know what I mean? But like Hunting Horn is like a mystical weapon, so I'm able to suspend my disbelief. You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm saying. Like right with Gunlance, like that's not a real thing. So you can just do anything with it. Like there's no bit of grounded thought that applies to it. Like a greatsword is like, all right, that's just a big stick. Like there's only so much you could do with a big stick. But like a Gunlance doesn't exist at all.
And it's a shame because they've done it with like Insect Glaive. Like look at how unique of a weapon Insect Glaive is, because they're like, hey, you got like a bug friend that you get cracked out on drugs and then it does all kinds of crazy.
You just can't hear monsters screaming now.
Like, and you just fly around, like it propels you through the air and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I don't know why they don't do more stuff like that with Gunlance. It's a shame.
I feel like they did it back when the weapon first came out. It was like, here's a lance, but it can shoot. That's crazy. And like second gen Monster Hunter. And then like that kind of was like it.
That's all it's done since.
And
it's a bummer, and hopefully Lost Ark has put a little pressure on it, but the Gunlance in Lost Ark is way more interesting. Than...
So cool. It's like, I want that stuff in Monster Hunter form.
The chains, the like gap closing blast dash explosion stuff, and all the other stuff. It's like kind of like this,
like the multiple Wyvern Fire kind of shit is like awesome. Like give us, like Wyvern Fire is cool, but like give us like more utilities of using it, you know, like tie that actually into the types if you're going to keep the types, as opposed to just a numerical change.
And it's also like a tech weapon because you can do like electricity attacks and all kinds of stuff like that with it too. So it's not just specifically limited to the Gunlance and flames and stuff like that. It's a tech weapon that lets you do multiple different kind of elemental things with it, which I think is really cool. And it, you know, also uses the shield, which the Gunlance does not.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has a shield too. Like everything we've talked so far is just the Gunlance part, but like it also is a shield weapon. So like, look at all the shit Charge Blade has. Like, and it's a mechanical the same way. Like the shield, we have one wire bug.
And look at Lance, dude. Lance has like 8 shield moves and like 20 lance moves. I think Gunlance doesn't have any of that crap. No counters, no parries. Like it's got shield guard reload, I guess.
Yeah,
which is a good start. Not enough though, I don't think.
Yeah, it's started,
big boy.
Right? But like look at how long it took for something to start. Like the shield was nothing in World. It was just you just block.
You didn't even build guard. You just built evade.
Yeah.
And you also didn't at the end. For most of it, you didn't even shell. You just slap lance.
No, you just poke. Yeah, you just poke and slap. Like Diablo gun lance was just a weird looking lance.
Yeah.
Or not Diablo, sorry, Devil Joe.
I got what you're talking about.
Yeah, Devil Joe was just a weird looking lance.
And then they figured out you could do aerial gun lance with it, and then that's all it did too. You never shelled. There's a lot of possibility though. It's a cool ass game.
Yeah.
We're all saying it from a position of love, of course, but.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing that gives me hope, right? Is seeing all these new animations and stuff they're doing. Like they could do so much cool shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think at this point it's just like imagination is their limitation.
Yeah.
Which means it'll happen at some point. You just gotta think about it. Oh.
Shut up.
Diving Wyvern is so fucking cool in IG in this game, man. It's so cool. Like it was awesome in Iceborne, but like
way better in this one.
I didn't know that would make it even cooler.
What was the guard point on Gunlance? Was it the what are you talking about? Is it the Wyvern Fire one guard point?
Now or in a previous game?
In World Iceborne. I don't even remember what the guard point was on Gunlance. I know
it did have something weird.
It had one on the big Wyvern Blast.
But it was like very like not substantial kind of thing. Like you didn't get it wasn't a part of the playstyle.
Oh yeah, you can follow up with the butt plug. That's right.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but just more shit like that, man.
Yeah. I think like an explosion if you guard point during certain frames or something. Like imagine, you know, when you do like your reload, your quick reload, that's like a guard point, and if you proc it, you like
get a counterattack out of it.
That you reloaded or something like that. Yeah.
And since it's like Lance is the bare bones weapon and Gun Lance is the tech weapon, you know, like you could so in Dragon's Dogma there's the Mystic Knight, and the Mystic Knight is kind of like it's a caster, but you cast spells on your shield, and then whenever you guard point with the shield, it gives you those spells.
Oh yeah, that's that video you were showing me, right?
I think so. Oh yeah, that was the holy damage one. But I mean, they could do something like that for Gun Lance, where they let you put some sort of explosion or tech on your shield and create counterattacks that way. Could be kind of cool.
Like some crazy animation where the hunter like lifts their lance up and like slaps it on their shield or some shit, and now it has like the gun lance, whatever fires or whatever thunder element on it. Yeah, it's like it's the same kind of shit Chargeblade does. Like that shit is fantastical. What Chargeblade does.
It's like future tech nonsense stuff that more into an arsenal of explosives. That's what I'm talking about. Like having shells inside your shield that whenever you guard point something, it makes the shells blow up, and you know what I mean. It could do all kinds of stuff like that. Just whatever. Just not this.
Just not this.
It's got to be one of the coolest weapons designs, like or ideas. Yeah, in any game.
And they've had it for so long. Like Gunlance is. Like they've had that concept since, I don't know, Freedom Unite, I guess, when it came out.
I think it was Freedom Unite.
Yeah.
I remember.
Before Try, so like a while ago.
It could do all kinds of stuff, man. It could be awesome.
Yeah. About to be going to bed. Already triggered. Have a go, man.
Yeah, I'll probably do a couple more and then I'll hop off.
All right, cool.
Thank you for joining us today, though, guys. I think we
thanks for hopping in.
Probably like to do more of this in the future, where we kind of just
I'm always down for this. This is awesome.
just talk more about this kind of stuff and theory craft and
Yeah. Could do one for Sunbreak. Especially like after it's out, we could do one of like, you know, our findings and good things to look for now that the game's out kind of stuff.
Yeah, because like I always like kick myself whenever I had found out like the aerial insect glaive level stuff and changes that they had made, like kind of ninja changes that they had made to weapons that I
because they always do that stuff, right? Like there's always those kind of changes, like and that's actually something with Gunlance that's cool. It's like they tried to do it, but like not enough. There's so many cool like combos and links with Gunlance that they added in Rise that I didn't even know. But and it's like, this is cool, but this isn't like substantially change the weapon. Like you can do like one upswing and go right into like worm stake, which you couldn't do that before, which is really cool. You can like slap and reload, so you could just slap over and over again, which is cool.
Swing, reload, swing, reload.
Yeah,
there's some cool stuff, but it doesn't ultimately make a difference.
Yeah,
we'll play some Switch X. Oh, we were talking about it.
Ooh, I haven't played Switch X in a while.
Got my Icewex. I'm gonna grab my Palico or my Palamute too. I'm tired of running around like a peasant. I need to get on my Ferrari, my Lambo, you know.
Your Jaguar, basically. Get the Jag out. I don't have a Paraswax, so.
But I didn't like do anything with any of those weapon findings. Like 4 other people made a video off of what I posted on Twitter, and some of them gave me credit and some did not.
Yeah.
Like Super Rad reached out to me, Paradise Central reached out to me, and then there was just some people that were posting YouTube videos like that day that were just straight up like,
same day it came out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all that.
But I feel like we find that stuff pretty quick, and just like you're really good at finding, you know, obviously the value in kind of things like like the
I'll leverage it.
Yeah, how to kind of leverage
like
things
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I definitely was up there. One of the earlier people finding that stuff out.
You just like tinker around and find shit and cool like build interaction stuff. Like, hey, did you guys know that focus actually works on bow for whatever reason? This is kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we're leaving value on the table, Sammy, because we just should
definitely
use our
PVC out, you know,
use our streams and then just cut up YouTube videos and get people to our streams from that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like,
oh my god, yeah, Old World Auto Guard was insane. It was broken. It was literally broken.
Oh,
it was, like, so good.
I thought you were talking about World.
You could shoot and just block.
I thought it was like,
no,
like
Old World, the old like second gen, second, third gen. Like if you had auto guard and you shot, you just blocked. Like that could totally be a switch skill like ability thing. I mean, they can make it look cool, but you know,
I don't know. I mean,
some cool interactions they could do.
They gave all that shit to to Lance, like the auto guard, the adept guard, and then the counterattack, and then the power guard, and then spiral thrust,
so
and then anchor rage, and Gunlance doesn't have any of that. Why does it need like 8 counters?
Yeah.
Auto guard on Gunlance is so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it was really funny. That was like how I played almost all of Portable Third, like handheld, like when I first played it on PSP. I was just gunlancing the shit out of everything.
It's funny.
Command for the Palico, I think it's called Cats. Is it Cat? Palico? I did add a command for it. I don't remember what it is though. Skills? I don't remember what it is. I got it saved somewhere.
They give you a charm that gives you plus 10 auto guard in that game. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they give you a charm. It's like their introductory charm of like, here's the first charm. And it's just auto guard. And it was a bug that like if you shot with Gunlance, you just blocked at the same time.
That's hilarious.
Oh, Cats. There it is. There's an S in it.
I don't know why I tried to iframe that instead of using my wirebug shit.
That's such a habit. I like.
Breath.
I'm like, oh, let me get this iframe off. It's like, dude, you have a tool to make you not think about that.
Yeah. I'm dead.
Ah! Yeah, this control sucks.
I'll save you.
Keep trying to. Oh, oh God! Come on.
He's gonna grab you. Okay, good.
Oh. All right, I'm good now. Oh, thank you, Raythia.
Rathian's like pretty top tier monster ride, I feel like.
Yeah, up there. But Rajang, I think, is still number
The top.
one.
Maybe
Yeah.
Hellfire Magnum Alo.
Yeah,
as well.
that's up there too. But Rajang is just when you get that just combo beams. If you got 3 bugs, you're just going crazy.
Missed him.
Yo, what's up, Murph?
But yeah, I'm gonna get that tier list up of my favorite weapon reveal reaction stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably start working on these over the next few weeks. I'll let you know whenever they're going up.
Cool. Yeah.
What's up, Murph? How's it going?
I can't believe they're giving Switch Axe just a whole ass parry that puts you in amp state.
It's godlike, dude. It's so cool. I love it. I've been wanting some kind of like Valor longsword parry thing on Switch X for a while.
Yeah. Beam? Oh.
Are all the critters from World? I don't know about all of them. There's a lot of. That's one of those things that kind of go under your radar, but there's seriously like 500,000 small monsters in these games. And you are asking the wrong guy, my man. Sorry, Edzil.
Always sleep. I need to sharpen anyway.
I am on green right now.
Yeah, I was on green too.
To not have Aptonoth? I guess I never really thought about it. If it has an Aptonoth or not. Like Mudfish? Oh yeah, it's got Gyrototus. It doesn't have all the same monsters as World though. It's got Anjanath, it's got Gyrototus. It doesn't have Great Jaggers, but it has normal little Jaggers. Which wouldn't makes me... Yeah, it's got Toby in it. It wouldn't surprise me if those monsters are in Sunbreak, like Zamtrios and stuff like that, because why would they put the little guys in there if they're not just going to make the big guy? They share the same skeletons and all that stuff anyway, so...
Oh, what's up, Nightmare?
Hoo-yah!
Yeah, I think that's what it is for me, man. It's new animations. Even with Switch Axe, I use that new opener, that like gap closer one. Like substantially takes longer, but it just looks cool.
Yeah, back hop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, too early.
Magma Almudron. Sweet. My favorite thing that they did for Switch X, like on top of all the cool stuff, is they made it so that you don't have to go into sword mode if you don't want to. You get the transform animation, then you push it again to get into the sword mode, like stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you do 2 circles into transform, you don't have to go into sword mode if you don't want to. It's kind of cool. No, Valhazak is not in this one.
I think one of my favorite things with Switch X is being able to attack in any direction after a sidestep.
So nice, man.
That was always one of the things, was like, you have this sidestep, but it just feels so limiting if you don't like use evade extender. And even then, it's like, all right, well, I'm facing the wrong way now, so whatever.
And rapid morph is kind of an obvious love letter to Switch X players.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, we're gonna give you some more damage and make your transforms quicker to make your gameplay flow feel better.
Yep.
Lance still to be big defensive kit. Yeah, Lance and Gun Lance are still good defensive weapons. And Longsword, still a good one as well.
Yep.
Believe it or not, Longsword is better defensive weapons than both of those. Because you don't block. You don't go block. You just go invincible.
Yeah, your defensive moves are damage.
Yeah, don't forget about that. You don't have to invest in guard or anything. You're just fully invincible. And then it also does a truckload of damage on top of it.
Is the step from Longsword like the Sword and Shield? Like, can you step on damage?
The step. What are you talking about?
Like the move that, like the helm splitter. Like, you know how you do the step.
Oh, soaring kick, Sammy? Are you referring to?
Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry, fellow gamer.
That doesn't have iframes on it, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no chip damage or stamina loss. Yeah, or no knockback or anything like that. You're just... It's like you're not even there. You just phase out of the world for a couple seconds.
Yeah. You're literally just Virgil.
Mm-hmm.
From Devil May Cry. You just disappear and just damage is happening.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching, y'all. Make sure you go check out my good buddy Hotsammysliz and follow both of us if you guys want more Rise and Sunbreak stuff whenever that all comes out.
Same from here. The folks watching, if you haven't already, if y'all don't know the homie Cups. Fellow PVC, man, go check them.
Yeah, Valor at least made you lose health. That's a good point.
Yeah, you couldn't do it forever.
And whenever you like did the little backstep, you still took a little bit of rocksteady damage.
Yeah.
Stu Gossarog. I'm hoping, I know you're hoping for a Gossarog deviant.
Oh my god, please. Fire one, man. Fuck Glav. Give me a fire Goss.
With like a fire sword on his arm.
Yeah.
Featuring Virgil from the Devil May Cry series. Is that what he just said? I think so.
Or what would be even cooler is if they like dug into the kind of like witch doctor skull kind of and gave him like a Valhazak status arm thing, scythe, whatever.
A stink sword.
And it like pulled your health. Yeah, some kind of weird thing that like pulled your health when he hit you from it. Like that's what the cool debuff was or something.
That'd be really sick, actually. Like kind of like Grim Reaper
like
kind of thing.
Dog. Yeah, like how your dogs look.
Yeah.
Like give them more look like that.
I'd be totally down for that. That's awesome.
That armor would look amazing.
Mm-hmm. What are we fighting?
You put Gossip, didn't you?
Gossarog. Yeah. I'll do Stupo.
Oh, I gotta take Greatsword. Oh, perfect spread right there. That's a tactical spread.
Swamp Harag.
Yes, Shrek Harag. Imagine if Valor and Health Augment had a moment of overlap. Oh God.
Just for a brief moment, though.
Yeah. One singular point in the Venn diagram.
What was the Valor heavy bowgun would use Pierce still? Is that what it would do?
Yeah, that's what it did. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, man. Have I told you that story about when I was watching Rico and playing Iceborne?
No.
He was like, he was in the Guiding Lands. And he was just like mindless. He was in a random hub, just hunting whatever showed up. And somebody showed up in his hub and like they were cheating. They had rapid fire wyvern snipe, and they were just killing Diablo or Deviljho. Like he spawned and was dead like 5 minutes after. And Rika was like, man, they really don't know how to balance heavy bow guns, man. This weapon's crazy. And I was like, Rico, they're cheating. I mean, they don't know how to balance it, but that guy is cheating. But it was hilarious that weapon is so busted that if you don't really know what it's doing, you're just like, wow, man, that weapon's crazy.
That's hilarious. Damn, yo, that shit's nuts.
Just rapid firing wyvern snipes.
Bro, just cheating his ass off. Yeah, I had 2 of those guys join me for a hunt once, and we did two black Diablos. There was the double Diablos hunt, and they're both in that area below in world, and they just were dead instantly. I was like, well, those guys are gone and banned. Goodbye.
Yeah. It was just so funny that like that weapon is just like, if you know nothing about it, you're just like, wow, that's crazy. And if you know everything about it, you're like, yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's really dumb, but not that dumb, bro.
Dude, or a Gossarag that gets like an axe hand?
It'd be sick,
oh,
dude.
Man.
Telling you, bro.
You just did that all with your bow.
Yeah,
I didn't even hit him before his arms were able to break.
Instantly. Like, no problem whatsoever. Ow!
Surprised we didn't get an emergency Goss. Not like...
Ow.
Oh, yep, that's bow.
I don't know if my bow gear is upgraded, to be honest.
Oh.
Now that I think about it. Yeah, I think Goss is really sick. You know, we've like in Monster Hunter, we've never really had like humanoids and have it gone well because like Leshen and like they've always just been like garbage.
Sucked.
But
they nailed it here, man.
Yeah, why is that though? It's because like they can't put weak points in the right spots, but they balance it out with Goss because his weapons are his weak point.
His arms.
So it's sick. So you hit him in the head a bunch, and whenever he enrages, then he gets his weapons, and those are his new weak point. And then whenever you get that, whenever you break the weapons off, then he falls down. It's a huge knockdown. It's godlike.
Yeah, they did an amazing job on Goss.
Design-wise,
like,
he's one of the best.
I'll count this as like a first try, because I mean, Leshen was like a collab thing.
Yeah.
But I think like first try for a kind of humanoid monster, like they nailed it.
Leshen was stupid. It was Gajalaka, right? King Gajalaka.
Oh, I never fought him. So yeah, I guess maybe I don't know how that fight was, because that was like second gen.
Doesn't count though. This one. This is the first good one.
Yeah.
It's because like you can't have the head be the weak point because most players can't hit it.
Reach it.
And then you can't have the legs, arms, and belly and all that stuff be a weak point because then it just turns out like
die immediately.
Yeah.
It turns out like Arzuros.
Yeah. And it's like not good. That fight sucks. So he's awesome.
Yeah, I really hope we get a subspecies of him, something, whether it's simple fire or not. Like we need more Goss. And then like his alone from the just pure like numerical design, like aesthetically and thematically, he's awesome too.
Got the abominable snowman thing.
Yeah.
And he's got his own weapons, and I like how he's got the thing where if he pins you down, then he kind of like slowly walks up and fucking murders you.
Slowly walks up and F smash.
Yeah. He's tight, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And he can have
my favorite new monster in Rise.
He can have like different weapons on his arms too. He's got double blades, or he's got the bludgeon with the thing,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They give him an axe. That'd be so sick.
Or a scythe would be sick.
Yeah, scythe.
All different tells and behave differently.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is rage slash like anchor rage? Like your damage is determined based off of the attack?
You have to get a counterattack.
Yeah, I mean like you get the counterattack, but like you know like how there's certain knockback.
No, there's not. You don't get like more damage from a bigger attack
okay.
from rage slash or anything like that.
Yeah.
No. It's just it's simply yes or no.
Oh, okay.
That'd be insane.
Oh, shit.
You just like tank a Valstrax nuke and then just like do 2,000 damage to it.
5,000 damage.
That could be cool though, like leading to some like divine blessing builds. Divine blessing into whatever else.
Yeah, like divine blessing and is like adrenaline, moxie, like
resentment,
heroic, just pure chance.
Yeah,
resentment. Like if I survive this, I'm gonna do 1 billion damage.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think this gear is upgraded. So
you got it can't be. Was that a one shot?
Yeah, just straight up one shot. Straight up. Simply will not get hit. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and run that back. Let's go ahead and run that back.
Yeah.
That's what I really wanted out of Rage Slash. I wanted like resentment builds to be a thing because I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think they're super scared of resentment from Safi.
Yeah. Can't have that again. I don't know, man. That was so rare.
It's very cool.
Resentment's never been as apparent as it was with Safi.
Yeah, all my gear's level 1. Just want to let you. All my gear's level 1. 200 hours, whatever.
Yep.
Both games. Yeah, it's 700 hours, by the way.
Thanks for the follow, Minus Game.
How to prepare for Sunbreak. Upgrade your armor. Ah, yes. Nothing was upgraded. Not a single thing. It's all level 1.
Oh, my God.
I'm taking a lot of damage. This gunner damage is a bigger deal than I thought.
It's crazy. Idea of Mjolnir, Goss, and I think it would be amazing.
Be kind of cool.
Oh,
Some
yeah, you can get a hammer.
Oh, that'd be awesome. The bludgeon on his hand is kind of like a little bit more hammer shaped.
Yeah, he does thunder. Yeah, that would be sick.
May the spirits protect you.
Dodge bolt it is. And of course, with all the weapon reveals and everything, I'm like, this is all going to be very cool, but I just want I want everything to have better or more evenly distributed elemental motion values and status stuff as well.
Yeah.
I just want
I want element to be great, man. Like I feel like we only had that at the end of Iceborne, and it was awesome.
On some weapons, like not on all.
On some weapons, yeah, not even everything.
Like I feel like against specific monsters that have a lot of elemental weakness, elemental should be the top performing weapon, and then raw should be like the catch-all, right? Raw should be kind of good against everything,
but it's not going to do the most.
Yeah, and then status, I think status should also do damage. Like, you know, like paralysis files should do damage, but just not very much damage. You just get the status effect on top of it, so you get a little bit more lockdown. Just elemental at the top, raw, and then status that actually gives you damage instead of just is completely useless for some reason, except for meme builds where you're like, hey, let's see if I can get 7 paralysis this hunt. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like such a sacrifice on like aside from how much the weapon does, but just building for it, at least in Rise. Like if you decide to make a paraset, you're not fitting much else on there.
Right. Because the weapons are pretty bad, so you're usually needing to put some sort of sharpness or something else on top of it as well, just to make it even compete.
Yeah.
No more one-shots for cups.
Yeah, status deco. Well, no, not status decos, just para. I don't think blast is too. I know poison isn't. It's just para.
I mean, I'd be okay with sleep doing
sleep
damage, just not very much, obviously.
Yeah.
Sleep on its own does a shit ton of damage. But I'm talking mainly like Switch X and Charge Blade and stuff like that. Like, give us like paralysis files that travel along the ground and are yellow. You know?
Yeah, I do have a mod that does that. Auto. It spawns the health and stamina birds slowly.
Yeah, that's a pretty dumb mechanic. I'm cool with.
And it's still gonna be there because they've already showed the birds floating around. I don't know. They just need to give us a thing at the end. Like once we finish, like the story and whatever, just give us a whatever those things are called, pedalist, that just gives us the health and stuff. Like it's cool. Progression, like explore the world and whatever, but like I'm done with that. I don't need to run around anymore. I know this whole map now.
Yeah, it's just creating busy work for busy work's sake.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's times where they give it to us. That's what really gets me is whenever we're in an arena, they give it to us.
Yep.
And it's like these monsters aren't any different than the ones we're fighting out in the maps. So like you know we don't need it. Yo, he is all over the place chasing you. I can't do a goddamn thing.
I think I have diversion on probably. I'll stick close to it. What's up, man?
Oh, right there. That was evasive vitality.
Is it good to learn multiple weapon types? Or is it good to learn multiple weapon types, or is it better to get really good at one weapon like Lance? Well, that's all dependent on how you want to play the game, of course. But I think it's better to build a good foundation with just one weapon and learn how the monsters behave and just kind of like the general overall feel of the game. And before you move on to another weapon, and then whenever you do move on to another weapon, it breathes a whole new bunch of life into the game because you're like, oh, I kind of have to relearn the game a little bit, you know? I don't know if Lance is like...
And you have your fundamentals down, too.
Yeah, if you like Lance, like then play it, but I don't know if that's the best one to build a foundation on. Because it kind of behaves a little bit differently. Not all the weapons have shields and stuff like that. I feel like some of the better ones to build foundations are probably Hammer and Sword and Shield, maybe.
Yeah. I used to say Longsword, but
no.
I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say that in this game.
That is like, I'd probably say it's maybe the biggest outlier in the whole game now.
Yeah, for sure. Say probably Hammer, Sword and Shield. I think Switch Axe can teach you some good fundamentals too.
Yeah. Hammer is probably the best fundamental weapon though. Just positioning, timing.
You learn.
Yeah.
Yep.
You only have rolls to protect yourself. I love Lance, but they keep it locked down with chains, and it makes me sad. I think Lance is in a good position. They just need to evenly distribute the motion values a little bit better. Make all the moves do a little bit more damage instead of just two moves hogging all the motion values or damage sources, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Good old water strike. Yeah, I guess that's kind of a good baby's first parry kind of maneuver for people to learn.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a harder parry than all
some
the
of them. Yeah, because you got to swing it. You got to
It's
swing the
a pretty
attack
big
before it
wind-up.
happens.
Yeah, it's almost like a pretty hard read, like, and you have to like not be charging. You got to be like not doing the thing you're normally always doing. So you have to know the moves to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, play whatever you want though. That's the main thing. My saying for this game is just play whatever keeps you playing, as long as it's not fucking cheating and ruining the experience for somebody else. You can cheat all
area and pick the weapon that you think is the coolest and just stick to that.
Because they're all good as hell, and you can be a big old stud at any weapon that you want.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There's always a lot of conversation about like weapons being broken and all that kind of stuff, but like a lot of that stuff is very micro. Like from a grand scheme, like every weapon can finish a quest in 15 minutes.
From not a sweaty loser point of view is what Sammy's saying. It's like for normal Joe Schmoes that like 7 minutes and 5 minutes is not that big of a difference, but for Monster Hunter nerds, they're like, oh my god, it's completely busted. It's like, nah, it's all pretty similar. Hunting Horn has the hardest parry? What?
It has a dodge. I wouldn't call that a parry. The when you play the recital or whatever.
I feel like that one's pretty forgiving.
Oh fuck. Oh.
Water Strike is up there, and Charge Blade guard points with Rapid Morph now.
Oh my god! Crazy. I don't even bother. I don't think I've ever tried that, other than like once, and I was like, this is awful. I'm not doing this. It's like 2 frames.
Yeah, the triangle, the R2 triangle guard point is so fast now. Cord is parry.
Derpy, thank you for the sub. The tier 1 fresh sub.
Cord is parry.
Thank you.
Huh. Oh. I know performance is that little roll on the ground. Are you talking about the single, the whatever it's called, performance mode or whatever it's called? Lance could sit there and laugh at a monster while it charges at you, like a real Chad. What other weapon types have to dodge? I mean, a lot of stuff has to dodge, but Gun Lance can stand still. Charge Blade can stand still. Sword and Shield can kind of stand still.
Yeah, you back hop. You're pretty similar.
And Shoryugeki.
Oh shit, I got a bio.
And the new guard point as well.
Shoryugeki.
If you put 100 levels of guard into it.
Yeah, if you use all your slots, you don't get weakness exploit, and don't get crit boost, and don't get attack, and
put guard and guard up and offensive guard. You can block a couple paw swipes. Greatsword tackles, yeah. Greatsword can. You might like Greatsword. I'd say Greatsword and Lance are relatively similar in that regard.
Yeah.
Stand still and fight the monster. Go through the monster instead of around it. That's always what I ask people: is do you want to go around the monster or do you want to go through the monster? And then tell you the weapons that can do those things.
Greatsword, especially in this game, is I'm doing what I want to. The monster will adhere to me. And it feels awesome when it works.
The right trigger ability. It parries at the beginning, then does a decent amount of damage. I'll have to see the. Let me test that real quick.
I need to make a hunting horn set. Actually, I have not made one.
I can show you mine if you want to snag it real quick. But I want to play around with the other mode a little bit too. Real Chad's Miss Striker Lance. One? Yeah, classic horn.
I'll snipe that set. You put it on. What's up, Derpy? Thank you for the fresh sub. New viewer, new sub, new message.
It's always the best feeling. Love it. Hey, what's up, everyone? And then you hang out for a little bit, and then you get the follow. Hang out for a little bit, and then you get the sub. It's a really good feeling.
Awesome. Thank you, Derpy.
Striker Lance, Evasion 3 in the 4U days. Striker Lance and GU, where you just freaking run at the monster. I have nightmares of watching Zebra quick. Ha!
And yeah, I feel you, Fist. I didn't have that many in Lance in World, but I had a lot. I played a lot of Lance in World and Iceborne.
Yes, that was in my top 5, I want to say, for most played weapons.
Yeah, it was up there for me too.
Which it's funny because it's like it still has all that stuff in Rise, but you just never use it. You just
there's just no need to use it.
You like auto guard everything or insta guard, insta block, whatever, and then you use spiral thrust for everything.
Yeah.
Or you can decide to hamper yourself by playing Anchor Rage and all that stuff if you want, but it's significantly worse than just spiral thrusting around like an asshole.
Way worse. It's just crazy how they didn't translate the claw counter to wire bow.
Yeah,
it's like right there.
It's right there, yeah.
Like,
Echo mode? R2 to play all. This has a parry in it?
Are you in the training area?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know why it was still showing you with the great.
Oh, I thought you were watching my stream to snipe my set, so I just was sitting in the box.
Oh. Yeah, I was just going to look here and see.
That's a parry right there.
Charm.
You don't have to use Echo.
Okay.
I can use performance mode and then just R2. Oh, no, it's not a parry. That's an iframe. There's no, you're just completely invulnerable during it. That's what I was confused on.
What move is it? The one we were talking about?
Yeah, the breakdance fight. Yeah, on the ground.
Yeah, the breakdance. Yeah.
Yeah, this right here. It's not a parry. It's just an invulnerability move.
Yeah.
And it's after it starts, so it's like while you're going down to the ground like that, kind of relatively forgiving. I'd say Water Strike's probably tougher.
Yeah, Water Strike is way harder, I think. Let's see this set. Attack, crit. Oh, yeah, classic. Classic. What do I need for that?
To go like this. See, it's like it's a little bit after the start. It's pretty forgiving, I feel like.
Visor, Vake, Ange, Golden.
Did SNS Backstep get more iframes? No, it's the same as it was in World, but it's both. It's like over 60 frames though. It's like for real a full.
Fucking insane. I was fighting Almadron and was like, this feels crazy even on this stupid monster.
Yeah. Which I think somebody said they fixed it though, so that evade window doesn't work though. It's always the same frames no matter what you put on it.
Oh, okay.
Which is different than World, because you can legit just get up into like 80 frames of invulnerability.
Yeah.
So the different types of damage mitigation, there's invulnerability frames like a roll where you're just fully invulnerable. And then there is a parry, which is usually a strict timing thing that completely mitigates the damage and usually kind of reflects it onto the monster a little bit. And then there's a guard point, which is in the middle of doing a move. There's an animation that happens that creates a parry, but it depends on your level of guard on if you can guard it or not. So that's a guard point. So it's like, typically like a transformative move that depends on your level of guard. So there's a couple different sources, and there's also like, I guess the belly flop is still a damage still an iframe. So those are really the only ones right now. I don't think there's any kind of other damage mitigation sources.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. Rampage. So what is it? Just attack, non-LE attack 2 melody. Rampage.
Mm-hmm. So this right there, that little blue dot, that little blue glow, that's a guard point, because this depends on your level of guard and if you get hit or not. Does Rocksteady count? That's like a damage reduction. I guess that should count. Yeah. So if
I guess there's like super armor moves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hyper, super, or whatever.
That reduces damage. Yeah.
So if I don't have the right level of guard, then my character just gets knocked back. So that's what makes this a guard point. Depends on guard, which I think is like actually really genius design to make guard weapons more viable.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think in this game they went a little bit too far to make you require guard to make them useful.
Mm-hmm.
But the concept I think is still really cool. Making guard a level 2 deco was just like too much.
Yeah, I'd say Rocksteady or damage reduction is a source, because it's on several different weapons. It's on switch X for whenever you're attached and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I mean there's a lot of wire bug moves that have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Charge Blade slide has it. The switch
Great
X
Sword slide hasn't.
Yeah, Great Sword has it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rocksteady's kind of all over the place. Which I like, because it's like a risk assessment. It's a business decision, as they call it.
Yeah. Is this worth right now? Which it feels awesome when it works.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't work, it still feels cool, because you're just like, well, I had that coming.
Yep.
Which is a really cool kind of mentality of it behind the design, to make something where like when it works, it feels awesome, and when it doesn't, you're like totally okay with it not working.
It's like it was I'm an idiot. It would have been sweet if
Yeah.
it worked, but it wasn't, so I'm a dummy.
I would have been sick if I got that combo off.
It was a close 0-2, though, That's what they say in the FGC.
Close 0-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a close 0-2.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it was 0-2, but it was close, though. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was close. Just dropped a couple, but it would have been good.
Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for me today.
Cool.
Thank you, man, for streaming with me. I'll
man.
probably get to work on this stuff, hang out with the fam, eat my chicken that I was marinating, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I got the audio separate from the whole thing, so I'll just send that over and send you the highlight too.
Sure. Sounds good. Sounds good. But thanks for streaming with me, Sammy. Thanks everybody for watching from Sammy's stream and my stream. Make sure you guys follow both of us at our various social medias. Hey, keep an eye out. I'll be we did a lot of stuff today. I'll probably turn this into honestly like 4 or 5 YouTube videos to keep an eye out on the YouTube channels and stuff like that in the future. But we're gonna raid our buddy Hotsammysliz. And then I'll probably be back on tomorrow, I think. Yeah. I don't see why not. Maybe we can play some more tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll be down.
But I'll see you guys next time. Much love. See you later, Sam. Have a good one, man.
See ya.
Bye-bye.